It is Sunday afternoon. We're here to talk about the Shonen Jump chapters, issue number 2, 2022. Let's get started and see our lovely, beautiful faces without further ado, because you know what? We're here. So let's just get to it. Welcome, Anime Lily fans, Shonen Ronin fans, how we're here, how we're doing. LegendDVash, SametheMangaMan, and Ray the Hot One is right here. How are we all doing today?
Doing
One,
good,
sponsor
man.
Ray.
No, I'm good. I don't need to do that. Unlike
The
Vash, I
wigs.
value my booty hole. So,
Whoa! You know, if he's talking about the drink, the wine that I drink is called the Colitos. That's what he's talking about. You know, that's a great drink.
That's what he wants you to think. That's all. You know, I ain't gonna. I'll let him tell you about that though. I won't.
So,
I won't put him out there.
So I gotta bring back that nickname, huh? All right.
I prefer that than cheese nuts. I definitely prefer that than cheese
That's
nuts. So
definitely
definitely.
fine.
Welcome, Ashton. How you doing? Not sure we're gonna be talking about Black Clover. We'll see how we're feeling by the end of the show. But our rundown for today is Kaiju number 8, My Hero Academia, and JJK. That was a rundown for today's show. Like we said it last week, if you guys want us to talk about any other series, because we might be removing Black Clover as a weekly conversation.
Don't say remove. I say like postpone.
So I was thinking. So let's talk about it real quick. I was thinking we just make it a monthly.
Yeah, like a monthly or
we make
a
it a
bi-weekly conversation instead of a weekly. So
yeah, I'm thinking I would prefer to put it with Boruto and Super. To be honest with you.
that's fine with me. I have no problem with that type of discussion. So that's what I'm telling the audience. If you guys want to talk about Sakamoto Days, any other series, Undead Unluck, any series that have good type of discussion, because I definitely will vote for Undead Unluck.
I mean, I'm about to say. I think we should. I mean, if we get to choose, I'm thinking Undead Unluck is the next wave. Like that's where we should go next.
I have no problem. I have no problem for Undead Unluck because that's a good conversation and has an interesting power system as well. So I have no problem for that.
I mean, like it's a good setup before we get into One Piece.
Even if it's just us and then occasionally Abe, yeah, we should absolutely do it.
Yeah, I have no problem for that because that'd be a great conversation. And for anybody else that is not reading from the team or from the fans and audience, we could tell them that we could be starting it in the first week of January once the series comes back from the break.
I mean, I feel like that's a good date. Let's talk with the rest of the team and see what they think. But I think starting in January is completely doable. So
definitely,
yeah, boy.
Sure. So
I would like to also do like the best of 2021, where the better art and stuff like that.
Yeah, we did talk about that when we had Ray, I think 2 weeks ago. So we did discuss that because Shonen Joe will be taking a break either next week or the next 2 weeks.
Not next week. It's coming back next week.
Oh, so
the week after is what I guess.
So because I know they take break the January 2nd, and I think they take break the 26th of Christmas as well. So I think it's either both of those or one or the other. So we could definitely see how we're all feeling to do, or we could do it on a weekday and just have it on the YouTube side and just do it on the stream side and just have it on the Sunday.
I am on break from work starting the 17th. So.
Oh, wait, me too. Yeah, me from the 17th until the 3rd or the 4th of January. So it works out. So guys, just follow us on Twitter. Just check the community tab. We'll give you guys a post, an idea of when we'll be live for those type of 2 topics of best manga of the year and what had the best chapter of Shonen Jump or the X year. So we will talk about and see what type of conversation we'll have. Other than that, let's jump into our first series, Kaiju number 8, chapter 52, right? 52?
Yes, 52. The full 52 weeks. But,
That is true. That's technically its full year of serialization, even though it happened in July of this year. So that
last year, no, 2 years ago, I believe, 2019. Sorry.
No, it started this year, Sam. Oh no, sorry.
Remember, it's a bi-week. It's a bi-weekly series.
It's bi-weekly, yeah.
And like it did like every 3 weeks or something before a few times.
Yeah, it was like I thought it was every 2 weeks before. Yeah.
So like I think this is like the 2.5 year maybe. Something
maybe.
like that.
No, the actual start date was July 3rd, 2020.
Because but I was to say we started
For
last
Jump
year.
Plus.
Yeah, for Jump Plus is July 3rd, 2020. That's when it first started, Sam.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Not even 2. Right. Oh, yeah, 2. Yeah. Like so, it's like 1.5 almost.
Yes,
Almost.
1.5. Yeah, because it made its first year in July 3rd of 2021. So, hey, that's a great thing for it. So, chapter 52, how do we all feel from my theory from last week that we said that our Captain Commander became Kaiju number 9?
I mean, the heroes were needing too much. They've been winning too many battles. You know, sometimes the villain needs to take a win.
Well, I mean, I think this was a better way to advance the plot and advance some of the character development for some folks, because now we know that number one captain is supposed to take over the defense force. I'm assuming that Kikoru will become the platoon leader for that unit.
That would make sense.
And then like now it becomes a personal thing for her, which makes sense because it's been like a familial thing. Like it's in her family to like have this kind of responsibility. So like that, it makes sense. It sucks because I really like the general like a lot, but it's like okay. So now I'm just gonna be mad if he uses his face all the time now when he's out doing stuff.
I feel like he would do that just to like tick off Shimuya's like psychological thing.
Yeah, well that, and now he has the face of the defense force, and so what's he gonna do to the general public with that? You know. That's the thing. I'm like, what is he gonna do now?
Yeah, because you know how the government is. The government don't tell the public eye everything that goes on behind the scenes because they don't want to worry them. So will they tell that a kaiju took the face of the first commander of the division of the government? So is that something that they will actually want to tell to the public or keep it to close chest? But then if they do that will hurt them in the eye.
They seem to have like been pretty open enough to the public.
Well,
mainly the reason why, like, if you were to see the captain's face, you know, like he's not a good guy anymore. If you see him, call us kind of thing.
Because social media, like they're talking about him on social media all the time. Like we've seen it, and so like the public is aware of what they do. It's just that now that he has the commander's face, if they were like, oh hey, Kaiju number 9 killed the commander, and he decided to go on the internet and say no, they didn't, you know. He could basically be like, how do they know that I'm dead? Like, I'm not dead. I'm right here. That's what I'm saying. He could cause some weird, like societal havoc now instead of just destruction. So I'm like, I'm really curious to see what he does next. Well,
he does look like from page 7. He looks like Cell, but more buffed up.
A little bit.
I would say Kaiju number 8 plus Cell, mainly because of the tail in itself and it's the head piece as well.
Oh man, so I'm like, okay, this all of this is bad still, but I guess I'm just curious about where they go from here. I'm assuming we get the post-mortem chapter where everybody's like, oh, I should have been stronger, I should have been faster, I wasn't strong enough, you know, type stuff. But I guess it's like trying to, I hope they show us like the delegation of duties from here, like who does what now is what I want to see.
And what is our boy Kafka gonna do with his skills now, knowing that he could sense other kaijus now that he has learned his abilities, he has learned how to use more of his combat as a kaiju form, and now that he sees Kaiju number 9 adapting, growing some fucking wings in this beautiful double spread in page 14 to 15, because he just said, yo, I'm about to be out because I'm getting some type of after effects. So I'm curious to see if Kaiju number 8 can learn from him, since Kaiju number 9 has learned from Kaiju number 8, because he even said it that, but this time I see through you, Kaiju number 8. So like he has learned to adapt fighting 2-on-1. Now I'm curious to see if Kaiju number 8, after this battle's over, is he gonna go through some type of tournament of himself?
Oh, he's gonna have to do some training. It's training on time.
But who is his sparring partner? Who would he like to be his sparring partner?
I mean, it's got to be the new Narumi. Yeah,
right.
It's got to be the new commander.
Because
straight up,
he's the only one that can handle his skill set. And
it's more like he inherited from Captain Isayo. It's like the nation's in your hands at this moment right now.
Which I gotta say, that was a sad flashback. Like seeing that in the first page. Like, hey, once I finish assembling the strongest division, I'm gonna completely step down for combat, and you're gonna be the one to handle this nation in your hands. I'm like, damn.
See, now that would have been a death flag for me, Sam.
Yeah, this. If we saw this last chapter, I'll be like, all right, Sam, you're right. He dead.
I mean, but there were definitely like some flags. But when they say shit exactly like that, because remember he said the future's in good hands, but now he was like, hey, I'm stepping down. This is for you. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, bro.
Yeah,
the curtain's calls for him. Like,
yeah. Once I read that, and I'm like, okay, he probably dead. And then once his eyes was white in page 3, I'm like, okay, he definitely did, because that's just a cask of a bottomless soul. And then in page fucking 4, he looked like a whole half kaiju. I'm like, oh no, he definitely got taken over. He definitely got taken over. I was like,
he got 8. So I mean, it sucks, but I'm actually okay with this.
But question.
Up close, number 9's face looks like that thing from Naruto that the Akatsuki's was giving its power to, with the 6 eyes.
That's it. You're talking about the statue, the ten tails.
Yeah. The 10 tail statue's face.
I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But question. So with him fusing with the commander at the time had kaiju number 2, right? Number 2. So does that mean that kaiju number 9 now has the commander and kaiju number 2 in his body since it fused?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He took number 2 and the commander. So that's why he's like really, really strong now. It's because he has a whole nother kaiju. Straight up. I mean, they showed it. He was like, oh, this is the blast that kaiju number 2 used when he blew up the city. And I'm like, oof, okay. So it was just to give us a taste of how strong kaiju number 2 was. And now the number 9 has it is a real bad time. It's a real bad time.
And like, luckily, it's not when the captain was in peak position, but still, number 2's power does not wear down, drains you. But if you were a kaiju, that's not a problem.
Yeah, so, that's what he says. He's like, if you were a kaiju, you'd be fine. And I'm like, oh. That sounds reminiscent of something else we just saw recently.
So does the commander we did not get confirmation. Like, is he unconscious? Do you guys think he's unconsciously like not paying attention, like he's dead, or do you think he's dead?
He got 8. Like, remember when number 9 remember how he's taken other bodies before? He eats them. I think he ate him, bro. He absolutely ate him. Yep.
I mean, we see number 9 absorb taking bodies and minus and stuff like that. This ain't no different. This is just
unfortunate for him, but yeah, he gone.
Damn.
And incredible defense power, wings, and is able to match number 8's power as well as Narumi's attacks.
I would say that he's stronger than all of them now.
Yes,
with his new combined strength and knowledge, because remember he has commanders. Remember he's got the commander's memories.
Yep.
So
everything.
he's stronger, like much stronger now. Which I'm like, well, now it's time for all y'all to level up again. And he was like, and I love that he's like, hey, with my newfound knowledge, I'm at a disadvantage, so I'm about to bounce. And I'm like, wow, okay.
He's smart. He's very smart.
He's smarter now, which is annoying.
But which is a good thing for him, but bad thing for us.
For us as readers, because I love when we have villains that are too smart for their own good and know when to quit before they get too far. Like, the annoying enemies are usually the best ones, in my opinion, when it comes to like shonen. Like, it's like, yeah, if he annoys me, it's like, yeah, it's because it's a good villain. Like, they always pop up when you don't want them to.
He kind of reminded me of smart wise. He reminds me a bit of Aizen. A bit of Aizen of smart wise, like knowing when to be there, when to be annoying. Like, we have not seen too much of Kaiju number 9, but smart wise of what you explained a bit, right? It reminds me a bit of Aizen type of being steps ahead.
This plan was really well thought out entirely.
Yeah,
I would
to bring up a more relevant person right now. I would say more Askeladd than Aizen.
Okay.
I'll give that.
Yeah,
I'll give that.
With Aizen, he plans way too far ahead.
I mean, well, that and it's like Aizen had been planning for like centuries.
Exactly. and like All for One also planned for like years and years.
By the way, side tangent, Death Battle, y'all need to stop. It should have been Aizen versus All for One, not Aizen versus Madara Uchiha. Let's be real. That would have been a way more interesting fight. I'll be very honest.
I agree on that.
But it is what it is. Anyway, so with number 9 basically taking itself out of the picture, where's our captain girl? Where's she at? What is she doing? Where's she at?
So that's what I was gonna bring up in. Actually, guys, now after this confrontation with Commander being gone, I think is a good time to bring the other characters from Division 3. Was it right? Division 3?
Maybe is that her division?
I think it was Division 3 that I recall.
Or was it? Yeah, I think so. Because
they were
is Squadron 12.
Is her first name Mina?
Yes.
Yeah, Mina.
Yeah. Like, when was the last time we saw her?
Back in like
before this arc,
late chapter 30s or early chapter 40s.
I guess I that's something I'm stuck on. Like, where the hell is she?
It was like the last conversation she had with Kafka and stuff.
I want to know where she is. Like, where the hell? Like, why was she not here for this?
Last time we saw them,
wasn't this like an incoming attack, like an ambush attack kind of thing? Like
but still, it's just that she went MIA. And we don't know where she is. Like, it's weird.
The last time we saw them is that they were training to get stronger. It was him.
The platoon needed to get stronger.
Yeah, it was Mina and plus it was Kafka's best friend. Like, they were training to get stronger. That's the last time we saw them back in like.
I wonder where they went to get 30s. Stronger. So I'm assuming when they come back, I'm sure we're gonna get that. You know.
I mean, it could be. Maybe that's the reason why Kaiju number 9. Like, all right, I'm out. I already got this information. I know what's to come. If she were to come in, because remember, she's like a sniper. She's like a whole.
Maybe
sniper.
He just now he knows where they are, and so now he's gonna go figure that out. Because remember, if the commander knew, he would know. I guess that's the other thing I like about this. They just open up a whole bunch more possibilities of where the story can go now, like a lot.
This could be its own final boss potentially.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can see this being like number 9 goes away for a bit, and now like starts to send other kaiju to like mess with them. Well, let's try to plan this next step.
There's still the question like, where are these other numbered kaiju coming from? Because number 10, he's locked up, but still, like, he came out of nowhere.
Yeah, he got locked up, but I was like, I mean, I guess in the scuffle, did he escape? Who knows? But I'm really curious to see. So that we knew which ones do they have as weapons? They had number 1. They no longer have number 2.
So the last time we saw Mina in them, it was chapter 34.
Damn,
that's like almost a year.
That was almost 20 chapters ago.
Yeah, it was chapter 34, and chapter 34 was in earlier this year. It was in May 14.
So I mean, they gotta be coming back soon then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's chapter 34, and around that arc was when Kafka got found out that he was a kaiju, and when he went to the first division and when he met the commander.
Okay. Dang. All right. Well, like I said, hopefully we see them soon, because I feel like they can bring another interesting part of the story, and they probably bring like another more information about other kaiju with them potentially.
Yeah. So, and we haven't taken a break since November 11th. So
I would like to think that they're going on a break here soon, aren't they?
They have a next chapter in 4 days, so most likely the last chapter would be either the 23rd or 30th, or most likely the 23rd.
It could be this next one. This next one could be the last one for the year.
And after I come back to 6, so it could be either or. So I feel like he wants to wrap the story up, which could lead up to this next chapter or one more after, which will be the epilogue of this arc, or I think he calls it episode.
Yeah, episodes. Yep.
Yeah, so once we wrap this episode is once he will take the break and come back to 6 or the following week after in January. So overall, I agree with what Ray said, that with Mina and the people from Division 3, they would be great to come back, because they will show that their skill set had got better, or they're more ready to take care of Kafka and their teammates.
I wonder if any of them are going to be bitter and be like, wow, if I was here, Commander would still be alive. Some shit like that. I wonder.
They could, but I feel like that. But I feel like that'd be too cocky. Yeah, like
I mean, there's a chance, So, but if Narumi, is that his name? Narumi is the first one.
The captain.
If he couldn't stop number 9, it's like, well, yeah, it was a little bit too much for all of us.
I can't do shit. Like, nah. Like if he couldn't, I can't really talk shit. So. Overall,
number nine, at there at the end was just a complete control. You could tell. So I was
like, well, he literally had the one arm ready here, grabbing the knife before it goes more deeper, and he literally hold Kafka with his whole right arm. Literally said, "Nah, boy, you can't come through this because I've seen you already."
Basically, he's like, "Look, I know how strong you are now, and I'm way stronger than that. So this ain't gonna work no more.
I'm curious to know, how is Kafka gonna level up? Like, is there some type of
evolution?
No,
it's time for the Kaiju Kafka talk. That Kaiju has not talked to him since he saw him.
Oh yeah,
internally. Yeah.
And all that thing I was thinking about was kill.
Well, that
Kaiju.
and like, so I remember I started rereading Kaiju number 8 because the volume came out recently.
Yes.
And that Kaiju specifically was looking for Kafka. And so we still don't know why.
Wait, so you think it was looking for Kafka only, like him specifically?
When it found Kafka, it goes, there you are, and then it jumps down his throat.
It jumps down his throat, which is still creepy as hell. But yeah,
it is nasty. Yeah. So I was like, what's up with that, bro?
So
a lot more questions left.
Since it's like a Shonen Jump series, Jump Plus, even though maybe it's like he's one of the chosen ones, or like maybe his father was a scientist, so his father kind of fused his son.
His grandpa, yeah.
Like his grandfather or father fused his son with some genes by accident, so he has some unawakened potential of a kaiju.
He literally goes, I found you. It's like, oh, so it was looking for him.
Yeah, so maybe Kafka's a chosen one. Maybe some long lost egg.
So now that I'm thinking about it, if number 9 is a virus, number 8 is a symbiote or a parasite.
Wasn't that number 9?
No, number 9 is a virus.
Yeah.
Number 8 is like a parasite or a symbiote.
I would rather say symbiote.
Number 2 was Godzilla.
Right. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, we still have a lot of questions to be answered.
Yeah, that's very true.
Because now, like, that has not been mentioned at all since literally the beginning of the manga. So I have to know the history of this kaiju that basically possessed Kafka. Yes. So I'm like, there's still a lot to do, and I'm like, that's why I love this story. There's still a lot of really good stuff that they can answer. Like, there's a lot of juicy details that we need.
We need more lore. We need more plot.
That's all I care about. I care about lore, story. Give me that. I've been having a blast with this. And if you haven't picked up your volume for Kaiju number 8, good luck finding it, because I've heard that it is very hard to get now. If you didn't pre-order it back in like July when we did.
Right?
Really?
Like instant, yes. Like we knew the hype. Instant, we had to.
Yeah. So I hear it's been real hard for people to find.
They can pre-order for the volume 2 is still available if you can get that too.
Let's go.
Yeah,
is it still available?
It should be.
Let's find out.
With the hype of number of this one,
right? I instantly had to go for it right away the moment it became like.
So it looks like it's still available on Amazon. So both of them. So if you can get it on Amazon, get it. Oh, by the way, volume 3 is up, so I'm finna pre-order that right now.
Say no more. But yeah,
it's not coming in. We're not getting that until July 2022.
No, that makes sense. So that makes sense.
Yeah, Kaiju number 1, number 2 are still available. And
1 and 2 are available, but I just pre-ordered 3. So
number 1 is on sale. It's $7.99, and number 2 is $9.99 for pre-order price guarantee. And for number 3 is ready for.
So you heard it. If you want your Kaiju number 8 volume, go to Amazon, get it.
And by the way, Viz, we're not sponsored by Viz / Shonen Jump, so we're just here telling you as actual fans, so we're not promoted. But
no, I'm not promoting them. I'm not promoting them. I'm promoting the story because I like it.
I know.
That's it. But no, go read Kaiju number 8.
Agree.
Go buy it, support it, so that way they know we want more.
They should, because Kaiju number 8, Kaijus, read it. It's enjoyable.
Well, I mean, it's a really good story. Like, it is fun. It is good. I would say that it's definitely in my top 3 of Jump right now, straight up. So,
I'm glad to hear that. So, any last thoughts? Any last comments before we move on to My Hero Academia?
No, man. I'm excited. I'm curious to see what this next chapter is going to be, because now I don't know what they do. Like, what do they do now? I guess there's a whole lot of stuff that we talked about that's possible. I just want to see if they are like they're going to take time to mourn, or if they're going to move right on to the next thing. That's what I want to see.
I feel like they don't have enough time to mourn.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. It's like
knowing that there's now a big bad threat in the world. We don't know where he is. Mm-hmm. And with all that kind of power, that's like he possessed power number 2. he still probably had more secrets of number 9 himself, but being a parasite, not being a virus and everything like that. So, rest in peace, Captain Messiah.
That's true. If he is truly dead, rest in peace, Captain Messiah. We'll hope to see you in a different phase in a different world. So hopefully you're good, my guy. Other than that, let's move on to My Hero Academia, chapter 337. How we all feeling about this chapter, Ray? Because we haven't heard your last thoughts on chapter 336. So would you want to give your quick thoughts of how you felt about the actual reveal of the actual traitor?
It was somebody who we've been suspecting for a long time. Horikoshi did. I told you his misdirection. I remember saying that last time I was here that Horikoshi was trying to misdirect us. It's like, okay, yeah, she showed up, but then it's like, oh, it's just because she was, who is she? She's our best spy, and so she's our spy. She was following Aoyama because she was curious about him. But it's sad. Like the way it all makes sense now. All of it. It all makes sense. And I'm like, Horikoshi, you are so damn good at this. And I remember all y'all talk I'm talking to each and every single one of y'all. Y'all talk so much shit about Horikoshi in that chapter, just for it to be like, oh, so this is what he was trying to do. Because you know what? You don't know the full story until the next chapter comes out.
Thank you.
You big dummies.
Thank you.
God damn, y'all talk so much shit.
It's like in the last previous chapters when they realized, oh no, this boy's sad. We sad. And it's like, this is just... he's not so bad.
I just couldn't believe that people were so quick to say how bad the reveal was. When I'm like, it wasn't actually the reveal.
The reason.
And so it's like, I was like, because it was like, we don't even know her, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's like, well, Horikoshi thought about that. You know why? Because he's writing the damn story. Okay? Let him tell the story before you jump to the conclusion that something is terrible. Like, y'all are so wild and fickle. I swear to God. But anyway, I was glad that it was revealed to be officially Aoyama because it made sense. I mean, we had talked about in the beginning how he, was acting weird. Like we had so much evidence about how weird he was acting in so many different places. But not only that, it's just that the cheese was the spoiler for all of us. Like we all knew at that, like we all had an idea at that point. That it's like,
that's what's going on.
But like it wasn't. But like, the reason was not because of the I know your quirkless situation. Right. It was the I know how you. I know how you feel.
And that's what I assumed. Like it was like I know how you feel. And I'm like, that's weird. How would he know? And so it's because his quirk was also given to him, and his body's not suited for it. And they told us that. Like he was like, yeah, my body doesn't do well with my quirk. And I was like, well, that's strange. That's not a normal thing. But it makes sense. But it's actually really sad because he had no part in actually making this decision. This was a decision that was put upon him as a kid by his parents, who did it because they cared about him. You know what I'm saying? It was
just so coincidentally that he made it to class 1A in the same class as Deku, and he's able to spy with everything.
I don't think that was a coincidence.
That was not coincidence, Sam. That was planned. That was planned.
I mean, All For One said it, and he said it in the chat. He's like, "Hey, All Might's gonna be at this school." And then he basically each part of the plan he was a part of it. So, and then he was like, "Hey, by the way, you could tell us where the training camp is," and it's like, all right, tell us when Deku's by himself.
But it's like,
all right,
I love this conversation because last week when me and Sam spoke about it, like I saw people on the timeline getting mad that it was him was revealed or that it was obvious. So people saying like, "Oh, what's the point when we don't care about him?" And everything like.
Who said that?
Or there's people on the timeline saying that there's not enough characterization.
Right.
I'm like people need to say not every single character that we see on a story on a paper needs to have a character. They just need to have.
Aoyama has hella character. What the hell?
Some people said on the timeline. So I was just like more stunned and shocked. Is that in his last two?
Y'all mad that his parents ain't dead? Are you mad that he didn't have a tragic accident where he accidentally killed one of his friends? Like, does it have to be a tragedy for him to have character? Come on, y'all. Stop it. Aoyama has plenty of character. We know who Aoyama is. And now we know more about his background.
And it makes more sense in the first season of the anime or first couple of 20 chapters of the manga are why he was also always vomiting off his quirk. It makes so much sense.
He was not adjusted to it.
Because he was not adjusted to it.
Because that quirk is not suitable
for him. So it makes so much more sense of like, wow, that makes sense.
It's even more of All for One saying, no, he's just fodder. I'm just giving him this weird quirk that
he's a disposable tool.
Yeah,
is what he calls them. He's like, not necessarily friends, but disposable tools. And I'm like, man, for you asshole.
I just love how Dabi even act like, aren't we screwed if one of your friends, quotation gets caught? He said, I don't give a fuck, not the least. Because he literally said it's like, they're less like friends. They're more like disposable tools. And I say, hip, hip, hooray for any slight excitement they can inflict. And like he said, as long as they do it, it works. If not, I have a plan B, plan C. Like, I love how in the last chapter it showed all his different routes of all his type of different possibilities.
It was showing his thought process. Yeah.
So here again in this chapter, it shows that if one friend or one of his goal fails, he has another backup. So I just love how it works out. And then Horikoshi continues with the storyline.
What's kind of sick in the head, he says that, and I say, hip, hip, hooray for any slight excitement they can inflict, good or bad. Meaning, like, you know how he always keeps smiling and stuff like that? It's more like,
this man,
he just
is sick in the head.
It's more like, it's going out of my control. Oh, hey, something different.
He's like, ooh, something interesting. And I'm like, wow, there's something wrong with you, dude. I can't, oof.
And like, man, it's like, what a shame. And then brief disappointment. All right, moving on. Next round, like,
that's exactly what he's like. I'm like, wow, that's a real villain.
Now it kind of makes me wonder that every time we saw a side panel of All for One in jail, every time when there was force and everything, was he smiling because he knew what was happening when Oyama told him everything?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So now it makes me kind of like, was he smiling because of the slight excitement he got, the slight things that was going his way? Like, holy fuck.
Even when it didn't go his way, he was excited because that's what he kind of wanted. Do something different. Don't let me predict what you want to do. If you do something else that doesn't I predict, I'm happy. It gives me a new idea and plan to go even further with my thoughts. It'll let me know, adjust, and like new plan, new route, different ways. It's kind of sick in the head, but
Sam is absolutely right. Like that's what it's been the whole time for this dude. It's been a big game for him. It's like, win or lose is exciting because something's happening that I didn't anticipate. And it's like either it goes exactly the way I wanted it to, and that's great, or it doesn't, and that excites me because now I get to do something different. What a weirdo. Like,
agreed.
God, that's a terrible villain.
I mean, we said like this is Horikoshi playing against himself.
That's what we're saying. He's been trying to outright his past self.
Right?
I love it.
He's been trying to undo himself and do it in a better way. It just makes me feel like, God damn it, like you're improving it and you're outwitting yourself on purpose because you want to improve it. And like, that's just makes it more logical sense.
But I mean, bringing it back to what you had asked, it's like with Aoyama and our girl, our invisible girl, like, finally showing some emotion, literally. That was like, that was also refreshing to see, but it also was like, oh, she felt bad too because this was one of their friends, like straight up, like,
classmates. Yeah,
Aoyama was one of their classmates, one of their friends, and he like it when he said he goes like, yeah, when I found out, I was, we were like, that was what truly threw me into despair because I was hurting someone who was suffering like I was essentially. And it's like, oof, that sucks because he was like, but you were taking it and doing good with it, and I was, basically trying to ruin everybody else's life, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, that sucks. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if can Deku save this kid because like he's so far into despair now. It's like, is it too late or can Deku save this kid?
I love not to skip until the end of the chapter because of what you just said, but I love the ending when Deku said that, like in his little speech, of course not. I'm kicking myself for not realizing that was your SOS to me. Your body is out and now. I know a hero who got manipulated by him, but she didn't even sell her whole soul. Her spirit was crushed, that's all. And then him saying that, take my hand, you can be a hero. My favorite line is when Bakugo finally understands of what Deku finally means that you can be saved too. He said, if nothing else, we can choose how to enter this fight. And when Bakugo said, Deku, I get it now. That's just my favorite line because Bakugo finally understands what Deku has been trying to do all along and has been his passion as a hero. And I love that very much.
Hey, yo, so Chocolate Thunder, you said a lot of people are mixed on this chapter, but it's like, yeah, you're right. People, like, you got to know what Deku's about now. It's like Deku is, and I feel like a lot of people are mad is because they can't relate to Deku in this situation where, like, they want to be mad. And I'm like, well, you can be mad. You're not Deku. I mean, and the point is like, you want to strive to be more like Deku, like, because, I mean, why not? You know, there's nothing bad about it.
Yeah,
we're not meant to be Deku, but it's more to give us something to strive toward because he's a true hero. It's not supposed to be a thing that people like immediately relate to. You know, this is how they are making him a better version of Superman in a sense. You know, because Superman is not relatable, but Deku can be. So,
because
what I liked about like what's been happening so far with Deku, he's not like All Might anymore. This is a situation where he's hearing people's stories. He's having empathy for them. He can relate to these stories and he's able to reach out to these people, not even just not heroes, not even just his classmates, but even strangers themselves. He would listen to your story, empathize with you and really help out and give you his hand, like to like hold out his hand saying, I could help you. I will help you. You're just someone that's in trouble in this sort of situation. Same with Ayama. Like, I'm in this deep hole where I betrayed someone who was just like me. And instead of me being there to at his lowest, I just while up in my own grief and despair because I know where he's coming from in the situation, but I can't help him because I'm in this situation too.
Yep. He was like, I don't want my parents to suffer, essentially. You know, I don't want my parents to die for something that I didn't do. So I was like, yeah, that sucks. You know,
like I get it because if the audience or the fans of what Chocolate is saying that people are probably mixed because Deku's trying to save a traitor. Deku's trying to save Shigaraki. People need to understand that Deku was born without a quirk. He was so optimistic that he just wants to be a hero. He's a person that feels and just wants the world to be better. He sees how dark people are. He sees how the world is dark. He has met All For One. He sees how darkness can be. So he has such a high hope of optimism that he just wants to save anybody he can or everyone he can. So if you can relate, it's fine because not everyone has that pure heart like Deku, and it's totally understandable.
It's like saying like just because you make bad choices doesn't make you a bad person.
Exactly.
Technically, Ayama was forced into these situations.
Exactly.
And this wasn't even his choice because even in this chapter, it says that his parents was, rich and everything, and they're the ones that felt bad for their son. He just wanted to be like others, but he didn't choose to get a quirk. The parents are the ones that say,
he didn't choose to be born quirkless, and they didn't choose to have a quirkless kid. It happened, and they decided to do what they thought was the right thing to help their son.
Like he even said, like, you dare to believe a dubious rumor. They just chose to actually trust somebody that's like with no strings attached.
I mean, it's once again, it was one of those things where All For One was there when somebody needed to be saved, instead of something like he was there to offer a solution when nobody else could.
Also, like it was up to us. He was like the last resort because everybody else that Shimoy was walking to see him did not want to help because they just saw his face and they couldn't do anything. They were scared, and just All For One just came in and just like, I could offer you some kind of help.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. He's in these situations, people work with him because he's helped them, believe it or not, when nobody else would. And that's why they end up in these situations. It's like, okay, hey, yeah, I'll make a deal with the devil when nobody else will help me, because at that point the devil looks like a savior to them. Is a really interesting look at how people receive and want to be helped when nobody else will help them. So guess what? They're going to go to where the help is coming from.
Agree.
I want to bring in page 6 into the chapter. Like, I guess when Ayama just felt because the previous chapter, I'm no better than a villain for what I've done, and he tries to attack, but he is his last resort. We're like, all right, if I'm gonna if I guess villains would, if I were to like attack my friends or anything, that means like I accept that.
It'll truly I'll truly be making the jump to being a villain. Yeah.
But then we see a little nice characterization of the Vitzel girl where she says, "My body lets me retract light." So that shows that we could have been killed time for time. But
she saved him from taking that final step to personifying himself as a villain.
Because they both always worked together, like previously in their training and stuff before now. It's like, this ain't no better. Like you just saved. Yeah, she just saved him from making that bad choice of hurting his friends. And like Deku even tells him straight in his face, like she just did you a favor.
Yep.
She don't want you to hurt anybody else.
Like exactly like what Deku said, like she just did you a favor, my guy. Like you don't want nobody else. And by the way, that Blackwood panel of grabbing the two parents and then grabbing him down was amazing. Like boy did it so quick. Can't want to see it animated in probably season 6 or season 7.
That's our boy. Yeah.
Like
I mean, we won't see that till like 2025. But yeah, you're right.
So like it was so smooth and good. But it's just knowing in page 5, he literally says, "Inform me when your class is going to be isolated. Tell me the location of your training camp. Not that Izuku Midori has returned to you and lure him somewhere alone." Like he just kept asking favors and he just kept putting them in danger. He felt so in pain and alone, and just Aoyama just felt like asking for help, and like he couldn't do nothing because his parents and himself were in danger. Like I get it. People would be mad, "Oh, traitor, he's been smart," but like people understand this wasn't of his choice. This was his parents, and he had this burden in his mind that if he failed, his parents would get killed. Like any son or daughter that gets loved by his parents and do the best that their parents could do for their kid, it's understandable.
Had good intentions. So parents did have good intentions.
So those good intentions just caused them more conflict, more problems.
What's that saying? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Exactly. Yeah.
So I get it, Aoyama. Like I don't blame him. I get why he's a traitor. I get why he's in this predicament. He had no choice. Can he be saved? Yes. It just depends on now. What are his next actions? What are his next steps?
I mean, he's got Deku literally gave him the choice, and that's what I love about it. Like that's what I love about Deku. He gave him the choice. He's basically saying, "Take my hand, let us help you." But it's like, like, what's his choice gonna be? Because I actually don't know. He could be like, "Yeah, let me help," but he also could feel like he's done so much harm to these students that he has no right to stand next to them anymore.
Yeah, And I just love how in the page 10, 11, how we have All Might and the police officer and everything. And then in the next page, we see all the kids there. Not saying that I didn't expect them to be there, but I'm happy they were there because now they're part of this whole situation that now they all know the truth. And I'm happy that they now all understand what's going on.
Todoroki talking that talk. Like, principal's like, "Hey, kids, can you leave the room?" Like,
he said, "No, you may not." He said, "Nah, bro."
Just like that security dog. Hey, kids, I don't want you involved. Yeah, no, we ain't involved.
What I loved about that is like y'all cannot keep treating us like kids with all the shit that's going on right now.
I love that. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I love how they're part of this.
Everything that we have done is not something that kids should have to do. So stop treating us like children. is what they're saying. And I'm like, you know what? That's right.
Class 1A.
They put their neck on the line so many times. And now this is their friend. And they're like, nah. We ain't going nowhere, bro.
I love how you said it because Class 1A, they even said it back when
this can't be true. Like, come on. Like,
because I just love how Class 1A has gone through so much things that other Class 1A in the previous years have not gone through. Even back in the end of season 1, during that fight, All Might said that those villains made a mistake. They gave them the experience of fighting a villain at such an early stage in the career. Look where they're at now. That these kids are just going through what most adults as heroes don't go through. So this is something that an experience that, like, what were you planning here, Gaki? Like, hadn't caught you. Like, all of them asking the questions that are right, but it's understandable. And even the father just don't know what to do because, like, they're just... He even said, like, should we fail? He'll kill us. If we lie to him, we're dead. So like they were just stuck.
And he killed and they seen an example from one of All for One's lackey that betrayed them. And yeah, I mean, there was actually no other choice that they had. They had to follow All for One's order, or else the entire family would have been killed.
I mean, so they're fighting for their lives. So why? Of course, they go do what they need to do to stay alive. Yo, you would too.
Hell yeah. I'm sorry.
Before everything else, like he would have made Ayama watch as he killed both his parents before even killing him, because he's a sick mind.
I'm
sick
sorry.
mind.
If some evil villain came up to me saying that, yo, you do this for me or I kill your wife, I'm like, okay, what can I do for you? If I had no way out and you're telling me that you gotta do this for me or I'm gonna murder your wife for funny, I'm like, all right, cool. What can I do for you, boss?
Why do you think characters who feel like they're tough take all the torture and all that stuff? Like, yeah, nothing you could do made me talk. All right, I'm gonna torture your family. Okay, I'm gonna talk, because like you could do anything to me, but if you do it to someone else that I love and care about, that's gonna hurt me even more.
Do whatever you want. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like,
and most people can be like, well, I would never, whatever. I don't care. I don't care what you say. Yeah, you would. You fold
like that's some like bullshit. Like a piece of paper. Yeah. So, the paper. The paper
anyway, cut Earth. We'll fold Earth.
I'm glad y'all got that. Good. By the way, just a quick aside to talk. Ashton had dropped some recommendations. Ashton wants to see us do Spy Family.
Good series.
Which I'm like, okay, maybe.
Spy Family, I don't mind. Does it look cute, slice of life, and
then once us do, I think we could do a full review of Record of Ragnarok as a group.
I think we could do as regular as arcs or something, but as a weekly, it would be hard because that's like a fighting series, so it's kind of hard to really break it down.
I guess my question was going to be: do you want us to review the Netflix show or just the current manga? So
I'd rather review the manga.
Please.
I never finished the anime. I think I stopped around. I think I stopped like around episode 6, 7, and I never went back.
I don't remember where I stopped, but like it might be worth talking about because there are some fun fights in there.
Oh, and the art, like I've seen the art. The art is amazing. I think there's only 30 chapters out.
We will absolutely add that one to the list.
For anime, I don't mind Blue Lock and Eden Zero.
Blue Lock, okay. So I'll be very honest. I remember when Sam and Vash were like, "Oh, Eden Zero, right? You would like it." And I was like, I didn't have and then I didn't have the bandwidth for it. Like now, I might give it a shot. Straight up, I give it a chance.
I'm gonna catch up to Eden Zero during my break. So once I'm on vacation, I'm gonna capture Eden Zero because I heard, like fans of ours and friends of the Eden Zero community that still follows me and everything, they tells me to catch up to Eden Zero, and they're sending panels, and from what they have told me, and they have read other work of Hiro Mashima, and before me and Sam paused, I think around chapter 110, 107, this was my favorite work of the little bit I read of Raymaster. I think I only read like less than 100 chapters.
I love y'all know me. I love Raymaster. Raymaster,
and the whole series I read of Fairy Tail and plus the spin-offs, Eden Zero was my favorite so far out of the 110 chapters I read. I really want to go back into it because of people sending me panels of another time skip they did or another time lapse or whatever.
Let's present it. Let's add it. Somebody write those down. Write those down so we know.
Sam.
To look at those, talk about those with the group later on.
Records of Ragnarok. Thank you, Action. Yes, we would rather go with manga.
Yes, definitely the manga.
Record of Ragnarok, manga, Blue Lock, and Eden Zero, and Spy Family. So add those to the list and let's see which ones the group agrees on. But those are good choices. Thank you. But back to my hero.
But Chocolate said, "Do you think an invasion arc of UA is coming next? I just don't want to see a training arc." Invasion maybe.
There really isn't much time. I'm about to say, Chocolate,
I think training arcs are done.
Yeah,
because like now they have time to take action. Like so, basically, what I think is that the last two chapters kind of told us they had been training while Deku was doing
correct.
Stuff,
so training has been done,
doing her stuff,
but off panel.
Like they've been training, but it's been off panel, which I appreciate.
Which I don't mind.
Because people would have been mad had they given us another training arc. And so I'm like, I do think that there's like an invasion or like maybe they go on the offensive. Is what they're going to do next.
What actually I think they are going to happen. Ayama gives false information to All for One, and that gives the heroes the advantage somehow.
So remember what he said though: if they lie to him, they die.
Exactly.
Like, but how would he know? Like, can he read or understand the heartbeat?
So you know what might be interesting? If he lost that quirk, he might not know now.
That is true.
Because there's a lot of quirks he lost that they haven't told us about yet.
Yeah, you're right.
It's only come up in the conversation about the few that we know he's lost.
Remember they also explained like what happened to Lady Naga. She got exploded because she had multiple quirks, but in this situation,
well, yeah. So they're basically saying he did not plan a contingency thing within Aoyama.
Mm-hmm.
So
he just luckily continued to move on and then, hey, do this for me. Tell me when this is happening.
They went on an offensive in the walk. They did based on the information they had. They didn't know how strong he was. Now they know how strong he is, but they also know he just got his ass whooped. So they know that now they actually have a little bit of an advantage if they were to do something now, because they know that he physically got his ass whooped by a Star Strike. So because they have all the data from the fight from the Jets, like all of it, and so they could use that information, which is real good information now, to go do something. Is my thought.
I think I like the emotional aspect of when, like, remember when the Invisible Girl was asking, like, what was going through your mind when you were with the group, when we were like all together training, going through camping and having fun, enjoying your life, and then Ayama admits the truth, saying like, I really felt like you guys were my friends.
Yeah,
like, I felt like I was a place that I belong.
Next chapter will be interesting. Next chapter will be how they're all feeling right now at the one, because Aoyama and everything, like, they're both all about to express how they're like.
Well, you know, I hope that some of the students don't want him to come with them still. Like,
I agree.
I hope some of them are like, no, bro, he done basically put us in danger so many dang times. It's like, yeah, what's
the pink girl name? I think Mina. I don't think, like, the way she's crying and everything, like, some people are shocked, some people are very emotional. Like, some people look like they were not gonna accept him coming back, or like accept them, you know, to go on the mission, or trust him again even.
And I'd be okay with that, straight up. It's like, I've almost died multiple times because of this right here. I want nothing to do with him, and I would completely understand. Like, yeah, you're right. I'm not mad at you for being mad at him at all. So.
Even Ida gave that, like, yeah, I don't know if we could trust him again to bring back in the group, because like the moment when I said that, like, if you guys had died, yeah, it would have been my response. It would have been my fault. Everything would have been on me. But
he's quiet though. Like, I'm curious to see if he's gonna say something. But he is the class president, so maybe he also feels responsible that he didn't see this, or you know.
I hope not, because that's a really shitty thing to take on yourself. You're like, you know.
But remember, but remember, he is a responsible person, and he's the president. So for him to feel like the weight on his shoulder right now, that he feels like he's the one to blame.
Now we know that these weren't just coincidences.
Yes, very true.
This was all planned. And somebody was working with them, so like working against them actively.
So I was also gonna bring up, like, when he was comparing himself to Deku. Like, usually when someone compares themselves to someone else, it can strive yourself to do better, to be just like them, or at least match them.
I mean, and that's what I think what he said was important.
Yeah, in his mindset, like, he had a lot of self-doubt and anxiety and stuff. Like, I experienced the same thing he did, but look what I'm doing. I'm making bad decisions. There's no way I can even reach that level. I feel really beneath him, because like I can see how he excels and XR and just keeps going forward, and like, look at me standing still. I can't move the same situation, same cards that's been dealt to me, and yet I'm not striving like I should be, like he is at this moment. It gives
I would say that, because while the situations are similar, the situations are completely different.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, he had a much higher risk situation on hand. It's like, you know, his parents could literally die. Like, they could have been killed at any moment had he slipped up. And so I feel like that's a little different from what Deku's doing. You know, what Deku's doing is also equally dangerous, but like for him and everybody around him, not for his immediate family. You know, not at any point recently has Deku's mom been in like immediate danger because of what he's doing.
That's true. We have not seen her in a while.
I'm curious. So, you know, Chocolate Thunder, I think he knows that. Like, we all know Bakugo's smart as hell. When they were talking in this room, Bakugo was like, "Oh, so that was your fault," you know. But then Deku brings up that he tried to save him. He did. Aoyama did try to save Bakugo in the forest. He tried, and it just didn't work. Or else he wouldn't have tried if he really didn't care. So I feel like that's something that Bakugo would like understand and be like, okay, well, you're not a complete bag of shit, you know. So I don't know. It's just they all have a lot of ways that they could react to this, though. They really do.
It's just curious to see how everyone is gonna react to what Deku said as well. Bakugo understands this because Bakugo has been with Deku all these years. But I'm curious to see how other students gonna react of how Deku said you can still be a hero.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just, does he accept the olive branch? Does he think he's worthy to do it? Is my question. I'm like, does Aoyama think that he could actually stand next to his classmates of everything he's done?
And then I'm curious to see if the other students gonna be like, why are you giving him a hand? Like, I'm curious to see how are they gonna react. Like, wait, like, why do we have to give him a hand? He's the one that put us in harm's way and then put us in conflict and everything. So curious to see if anybody's gonna speak up, like Ida or Mina or anybody else.
Personally, I might be a tad disappointed if everybody just forgives him
immediately. Because I hope they'd be like, wait, why do we have to accept? Like, he just put us in harm.
I would hope that somebody, at least one person's like, hey, hold up, man. Look, I almost died like 4 times because of this dude. I don't know if I want him to be with us no more because I just don't trust him. Straight up. I hope that somebody feels that way. Honestly.
As weird as it sounds, I can see this happening, and I don't know why, but this could also lead to Bakugo versus Deku 3, but it's much deeper now. No, I don't think so, because Bakugo is in the same viewpoint now with Deku. He understands where he's coming from.
So can I say this? I don't think we're gonna get a Bakugo versus Deku 3. Unless, no, because that'd be corny. I was like, unless All For One like kind of starts to take over One For All, and like he has to fight him. Who getting in here? Who is it? Are we about to be taking to church?
Yes, we are.
Well, it is Sunday, but I thought church hours are over.
No. Church is just starting.
Church is starting, my guy.
It's time for the after service.
It's time for the after hours.
But yeah, Chocolate, I think you're right. I think it can create conflict between the students.
Are you taking confessions, Aniki?
But between Bakugo and Deku, I don't think so, personally.
It is possible, but I'm curious to see how also our girl Uraka is going to react to this, because she also hang out with him.
He is my man.
How you doing, Ray?
I'm doing
What's good, boy? Aniki?
Yo, I love that hoodie, man. I love that hoodie. That hoodie.
Oh, boy, Deku.
Like, it's been a while since I've been on here, so I'm glad to get to swing through. Been real busy.
This is a good time to come through.
Yeah, I saw him done with the stream because I was watching it as well, and then I'm like, oh, he finished. Like, let me see if he wants to come through. If he still got energy. I'll tell him like, hey, we're talking about my hero and JJK after. Maybe Black Clover, but depends on how the conversation is. And
I'm
then
not talking about Black Clover today, bro.
Come on, Ray, we can have some fun with it.
Nope, I'm not talking about Black Clover today.
Yo, I'm so disappointed with that shit, man, Aniki. I'm sorry. I can't tell about Black Clover either. I was just so let down with that. I'm like, nah, man.
Look, that's why I asked if anybody else felt like it was in the series vibes.
All right, but hold up.
I definitely. I mean, so we can't.
Let's save it.
I did get that kind of. So, but I want to. I didn't get to watch the stream. So, how did you feel about this chapter of My Hero?
So, first off, I know some people don't like the idea of Deku trying to like save or like Aoyama.
So
but I'm gonna be real with you.
That's his character.
One, that's his character. Two, if he can't feel sympathy for somebody who came from the same background as him,
they're both quirkless. It makes sense.
Like that would be weird. But also, Aoyama is 16. This is one of the things we talked about on my stream, which is like, Aoyama's parents are far more culpable for what happened than Aoyama, because you as some rich people could not find a way to help your child feel comfortable in the world without making a deal with AFO. And you didn't think there was anything sketchy about that? Mm-hmm. Like you didn't go, wow, how is it that a man who has the ability to give quirks isn't well known?
Like nobody questioned, like, hey, maybe All Might has been finding a guy like that the whole time, or technically for the past 100 years, finding other type of heroes like this.
Or like in general, it's like this dude isn't a well-known hero, but can give and take quirks.
Yeah,
something got to be fishy. Why is this dude in the shadows?
Dubious rumor.
Like it's like how Overhaul had the ability to be like the world's greatest doctor, and instead he chose to be the genetic engineering worst nightmare.
Literally.
Like You could have done like, it's like, why aren't you doing some actual good in the world then if you can do this? Like why aren't you? And so I'm like, and they kind of gaslit the hell out of him.
Oh, absolutely.
Forgive your loving parents. Blah blah. And I'm like, bro.
They did their child dirty to their own benefit. Because think about it, rich folks like that, how would they feel saying, "Oh, our kid's quirkless"? Like, because then they wouldn't be a part of the higher society.
That's like, exactly what I was talking about in my review last week. I was like, nah. I was like, nah. They did this like, because they didn't want.
Now go ahead.
It's like when rich people like. This is gonna sound bad, but it's kind of like when parents like hide their special child, and like they don't want to like talk about them as much, or they don't like take the special kid
because it takes away from their status.
Right, like that's what it was like, and they're like, they didn't want me to have to deal with being normal, blah blah blah, and it's like no, they didn't want to be shamed or anything like that. They keep saying it's for you, but it was for them. It was their status.
Was absolutely for them. And I'm like, yeah, no, like I can't blame. I was telling him earlier. I was like, I can't blame Aoyama for what he did. I can't.
Yeah, I can't because it's understandable. Like my reason I'm saying that. Imagine if All For One came up to me and told me like, yo, I'm gonna kill you, but instead of killing you, I'm gonna go kill your wife in front of you and everything. But instead, can you work for me? I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna work for you because I don't want you to kill my wife. What the fuck you think? My wife is gonna be in good harm, like not being hurt. Let me do what you do. I have to kill the people. I have to hide. I have to betray the cops. Whatever it is. All right, cool. That's what I gotta do to protect my wife. All right, cool. My wife comes first before anybody else.
Right, like Aoyama's parents, like especially because as far as Aoyama's concerned, they did try for him. He does believe that. So it's like he's sitting there like, oh yeah, my parents really tried this and they care about me and they're willing to invest the money necessary and they were willing to get me the support item when I was a little kid, all that other stuff. So of course he's not going to just be cool with them, like letting them die.
Right, because then in a sense, like to him, he's like, oh, well, they really did try to help me fit in because that's what I wanted. I wanted to fit in because he's a child, you know?
and that's my thing too, is that like, you can't, like, they're like, oh, because you as a 4-year-old told me you wanted this thing. We got it for you. Like, bro, what?
Yep. I mean, and Andrew, you bring up a good point. Did he even want to be a hero? Who knows? Like, what did Aoyama actually want? You know, and at this point, we'll never know.
And question, does his parents have... I know the parents have quirks, but do we know what other quirks are?
No.
No idea. I'm sure there's some useless quirk, so it don't matter. I mean, his dad probably buttered toast with his quirk or something. I don't know. But like, it's just, I still think, I go back to, it was a status thing. They were rich. And I feel like that said everything that it needed to say for me. He said they want it for nothing. So
right.
Like, yeah.
He's like, your wealthy upbringing, like you didn't have any needs, like you were just boom. Like
everything was fine. And then so they couldn't get exactly what they wanted, which was a successful quirk child. And so they decided to do something about it. So
I think Aoyama did want it to be a hero. Because going back to the previous chapter, Aoyama told his parents, like, being different is scary. Like, and literally, we know from Deku's experience when he was a Bakugo in his classroom, knowing that Deku was only quirkless.
Well, that's what I think. That's the point. He didn't want it to be a hero, is what I think Andrew's saying. He wanted it because he didn't want to be treated like he was different, like Deku, because society treats people without quirks real different, as we noticed.
Yeah, like, and that's my thing is that, like somebody else mentioned, they could have afforded homeschooling and all kind of stuff. So there was no reason for him to actually be exposed and vulnerable to being harassed by these people.
They chose this. They chose to harm their child in a mentally way. That they chose for this to happen. They chose to
not just mentally, but physically. The quirk hurts him.
Yeah.
Because and like that's the other thing is like your kid now has. I shit myself when I try to use my quirkitis, and instead of you being like, "Hey yo, at the very least, I'm gonna need you to hook my son up with a quirk that." Don't make him dookie himself.
That's a good point.
If that was like your parents,
I was like, all right, we'll go the other way.
When you get a quirk that does that to you, I think I'd be mad person. I'd be like real mad. I'd be like, no, this y'all can kill me and them right now.
Like, bro, I'd be like, you give me a quirk that should shoot something from my stomach, but then after that, it makes me want to take a shit.
At this point.
I mean, the spite for me would have been like, yeah, no, bro, this ain't it. No, this is the quirk. No, we done. Hey, kill us right now. I'm out. I'm done with this.
Like, and that's the other thing is that like. Since it was described as a dubious thing, like I'm sorry, but anytime somebody's like, if I pulled up to Ray and I was like, "Hey yo, you want to go to this restaurant? It's a dubious rumor, but I heard they got some good deals." That sound like we gonna eat people.
That's either we gonna eat people or they finna eat us. One of the two.
Yeah, like it doesn't make sense. Like, so you're telling me that you heard a rumor, like, so it's not concrete. You didn't see the Yelp reviews. You didn't see like the good reviews from your friends. You just heard a rumor. Like, that's some sketchy shit.
It's like, yeah, man, I hear they got special Coke over here. And I'm like, and I look at you like Coca-Cola. You like,
nah, bro, no. It's a special Coke.
It's just Coke. I'm like,
we're
not going.
Like, like, for people that felt this chapter not great or because of why Dick was asking for, like, that's his character.
We talk about it all the time. People interpret these things differently, and that's fine. People have different levels of reading comprehension. That's not me calling you stupid, but it's just like people interpret things differently. And when it comes to My Hero, I feel like it's just I am now more familiar with the way that Horikoshi tells his story, and so I feel like I'm interpreting it in a way that it's meant to be interpreted more often than most people.
Sorry about that, y'all. I had to go get some groceries.
Oh,
no worries. You good? And just Hori. Hori. Aniki, quick question. I asked the panel and the audience a good question. Do you think the classmates are going to forgive Ayama as fast as Deku, understanding that he also can be saved, or do you think some people will not feel great to have a traitor back in their classmates or trying to forgive him as fast?
So some people are going to be feeling especially betrayed, of course. Like,
oh yes.
One of the things that I mentioned was like people like Bakugo have a chance of being like more skeptical, but I think that based on how this chapter ended, Bakugo is going to propose the idea of trying to use Aoyama as bait for all for one.
That's what I said.
Even though I also think that there's more than one traitor.
Oh yes,
yes,
because I'm still on the Nezu's a traitor wave.
I believe. In fact,
I think when I made my UA trader video a while back, I said if it's a student, it's going to be Aoyama, but I'm leaning towards Nezu because there's some stuff that's been going on at UA way too long that it can't just be Aoyama. Because one of the things that I've always wanted to know is like, in what world does a high school need a crematorium?
You got me.
And plus, he also said one of your friends. So with an S, that means more than one traitor. So like there has to be more than one thing going on in UA for people to eavesdrop or see what the hell's going on there.
And he straight up said multiple routes. I have multiple that I plan over decades, years in advance. So you're gonna tell me the only UA traitor source he's got is Aoyama? Come on now.
Like there has to be more, and Nezu knows about All Might and his weakness. He knows about his true form before anybody else. So the perfect person to know more about his history and who has been there for decades, like you said, is Nezu. So I agree on that aspect too.
And everybody in here has read Vigilantes, right?
Yes.
I don't think Vash is caught up.
Yeah, I'm caught up.
Just as long as you've read the Aizawa backstory, right?
Yes, I did read.
Okay, so if you remember, when the villain Garvey goes on his rampage, he grows huge and then just walks in a straight line and eventually ends up by Aizawa and Loud Cloud. And then if you think back to the war arc, do you remember what Ujiko said as President Mike was dragging him across the threshold?
What do you say?
Back then, what I really wanted was to get my hands on a razor.
Yep.
Yep. So I'm like, Garvey goes straight to them. You're telling us directly that you wanted access to this quirk, and you're mentioning that. And now we know that the way that they got Loud Cloud's body was somehow dumpster diving and the cremate. Why does UA need to cremate its students' bodies?
Right.
Why does UA need to take its dead students?
I feel like that is solid evidence. Like I mean, but like I said, not to mention everything else. That's not what.
But also, we know Nezu was experimented on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we all know this. Who's the most world-renowned quirk expert as far as we know?
Dr. Uriel or something. That doctor.
Yeah. Who does the doctor work with?
All for one.
Move on.
So it's like all these little pieces are there that it like makes far more sense for Nezu to be the trader, or far more sense for Nezu to be a trader throughout time than just Aoyama to be responsible for everything.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, so I guess I'm curious of what he think that he had to say to Aoyama without the rest of the kids in there. What did he need to say?
And exactly, I was like, that's kind of fishy.
I'm like, yeah, that's kind of that's weird.
Like, why tell the students, hey, can you leave the room? Even knowing that you told everyone that in the school that we're all part of the situation. We're all part of this whole pandemic with All for One, this war. But now you tell the students to step out. And I love what Shoto said, like, no, you may not. Like, you've been lying to us way too much now.
Because
so, MK, I mean, that's a good point. But I mean, it also could have been the school trying to save face, as of like, oh yeah, a student died. But I mean, people were going to find out a student died regardless.
Yeah, especially because it's not like there weren't witnesses for Aizawa putting them paws to guard me, which we also got to address that what the Paranormal Liberation War arc also highlighted was exactly why it is imperative that All for One never get his hands on Erasure.
Yep. It's all bad. It's all bad.
Because like the whole reason they even had a chance throughout that whole situation,
it's with Razorhead.
It's because Aizawa was there, like legitimately. Like, man, look, the war arc would have been very quick if Aizawa was not there. Period.
And Deku would have lost in a matter of seconds.
Oh yeah,
without his help.
I think a lot of people forget about that. Is that it's because Shigaraki had been getting his ass kicked for like 15 minutes straight before Deku started trying to put the
by Endeavor and Shigaraki and everybody else.
Like he was cooked alive, like
literally
from jump, because
he was burned.
He stepped out the pod and was like, well, I guess it's time to get things popping.
And then Endeavor
was like,
and then a whole fire person coming out.
and Endeavor was like, nah, fuck you gotta go.
Hell curtain, you on fire.
Hellblade spider, boom boom.
So he had been having a bad time ever since he woke up again. Absolutely. But it's one of those things where I'm like, there are so many still like really important points with characters that we still have to like get through. That I'm like, okay, like this is not necessarily a turning point, but it's the start of another turning point, which I'm really excited about. To be honest with you,
the way I look at it is this is the UA Trader arc, basically. Yeah. And why are we like, if we're opening the arc with the reveal of a student trader, so what's gonna be the actual big conflict? Because
what's the climax? Like, what's the thing that's gonna end the arc?
Like, we're not gonna just have this conversation between all these people and like, oh, this is what we want to do, because that's not a fitting resolution to like why this has been introduced. So even Aoyama currently being outed as the traitor feels kind of like a distraction for what we have to come.
You know, I've always had this sneaking suspicion, and this is like a theory that I've had for a long time. It's not been like a real popular theory I've had, but like All Might's cop buddy is also one of All for One's pocket pimps, I think.
I've seen that a lot.
Yeah.
I've heard of that, but not too much, but I've heard of that.
Yeah, so like I think there's a possibility he is. And it's got something to do with his sister.
So his sister was such a good character in Vigilantes that it genuinely would feel kind of like a missed opportunity to not integrate her into the main story a little more.
Right, I agree. Yeah, she's a great character.
Especially because, you know, we
do we know where she is now?
No,
U.S.
Not right now.
No. In Vigilantes, she's in U.S.
Did she come back?
She came back and asked Koichi if he wanted that thing.
Yeah.
Told him that he should check and see how he feels about Pop and like figure that situation out first.
And then that whole thing happened. Yeah, you're right.
She was like, "I'm willing to put it on you, but you gotta You gotta,
you gotta sort your stuff out first. Yeah, okay, I remember now. Yep.
So, and like I think that's like the last time we saw her.
Right.
So if she's been because
right.
at this point, I also want to see I'm a big fan of Koichi.
I've been waiting
the main story.
I have been waiting. I've been waiting. I'm like, okay, look, Japan's the rules. Ain't no way Koichi's been chilling. Ain't no way.
Right? He has to join the story. Like, there's no way that he's like around the block just ignoring this whole war going on. But he probably has to be saving people out there with the other.
I mean,
small
I'm sure
vigilantes.
he's out there doing his thing in his place with what he can do. Exactly.
A quiet.
I would definitely see him like work with Aizawa this entire time, like in the shadows and stuff like that.
We still haven't
really
seen Miro or Miriko and the other trio. Like, we haven't seen what they're doing throughout this whole situation.
I've seen a theory that he's the reason why only 6 out of the 7 prisons had escapees. Like Koichi has, in theory, gone to jail because of all his vigilante activities. Which, when you get to what's going on in the current manga, I can see him getting
that would
arrested.
make sense.
And then, like in prison, when they like busted in, he started like busting out that shooty go blam and was like, "Nah, fam."
That would make
Y'all
sense.
not getting out.
His shooter go blaming Ultra Instinct. Yeah, bro, he's unstoppable. You right?
Yeah, he was like, "Nah, y'all, they was trapped in here with me. Don't get it twisted off."
It's like the moment they open the whole prison doors, it's like, nope, close back. Every single one of the doors just be like, no, keep the door closed. Just
that's a good theory. I forgot that theory because that's actually
like
very
that theory
intriguing.
a lot, actually. That's a lot of fun for me. Yeah, I like it. I'm gonna keep it. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah.
That theory is mine now.
I'm gonna just smash that meme. I'm gonna just take it from above. But Andrew did ask a good question right there, saying, "Do you think that they will tell the public that there was a traitor?" Because now, how the heroes are telling the public more of being honest of what's going on with the All for One, with Deku and everything. Do you think they'll be honest about the traitor as well, or do you think they will keep that to their chest, wait until more information gets revealed?
I think that's going to be an argument that they actually have because, from a logistics standpoint,
you shouldn't at this point.
Yeah, it's a horrible idea because...
And this will hurt the public eye a lot more.
Well, I mean, they just got the trust of these people again.
Right.
Yes.
It's like, we got Deku back. And they're going to be like, you brought in the target and then there was a traitor the whole time to help bring in the target? And it's like, yeah, exactly. But like, we didn't... like
we didn't know.
We want to help kids. This is a kid. He's 16. We can't just have him out in the streets, get killed.
So, I'm with Aniki. Like it would be a bad idea to tell them, but it's also like the heroes to be like, but we have to be honest with the people. Yeah.
On the other hand, not telling them and then some shit going left also opens them up to a lot of issues down the road. This is like a zero. Like there's a no-win scenario here. Because if you tell them and something comes out of it, you messed up. Plus
now that the cops know as well, it's like the cops' information could get leaked too. So it's a win-lose situation.
That's what I've been saying. The cops have known everything all along, so that's why I feel like there's also like a traitor in the cops. Straight up, has to be.
Oh hell yeah! In any cop stories, there's always a traitor within the cops. So that's probably also true.
I was gonna say, if they were to reveal the information, the public are so easy to put blame onto someone. They're gonna put blame onto the parents of Yama as well.
You'd hope so.
You would hope so, but then they will blame the heroes. I'm like, oh, it's the heroes' fault. I'm like, but they didn't even know. It's the parents' fault. The fuck?
Imagine if we got real. So every now and then I like to float these like scary, dark thoughts just so we can keep an appreciation of like the more tame aspects.
This is what keeps me up at night.
But for some reason I just thought about how when Destro was in the streets and everybody was mad at him, how it's basically confirmed that his mother was lynched. Yeah. Because of his existence. And we could see that play out again with the Yuga Aoyama's parents, and that we could see that where the crowd is like, nope, we want to get them, and because that would at least redeem them. Because I'm gonna be honest, I do not like his parents. It's hard to really get behind them.
I'll say
they keep they'll have a little moment where it's like, yeah, it's like, oh, that is sweet that you wanted to help your kid, but then it's like, these motives don't seem to line up. And
and they kept pushing him to do what he was doing to keep them alive.
Yeah. And they were like, you have to save us. Zero thoughts of how do we save our son from this dude. Like you totally cool with your son being forced to be a traitor for the rest of his life if it means you get to live.
Yep. That's shitty. I'm like, hey, you know.
I can't say nothing to that. Like, damn, you got a point there. It's like shit.
But I'm really curious to see how this plays out because I love this like dilemma they have. Like I'm like, how y'all gonna navigate this? I'm real curious.
Also, that's actually a good point.
That's
Andrew.
A good point. That is a great point.
The cheese.
What do rats eat? Cheese.
Oh my god!
Damn! Wow. Okay.
It is such a simple connection, but it makes sense.
It does make sense.
It's
like,
funny because
it's true.
At first, the media was just doing the media things. Now we're at a point where the media is over. Now, almost the only way you get in media is if you're on the internet, and if you're getting information on the internet at this point, you're likely getting fed stuff from Skeptic.
Exactly, Skeptic's got the narrative under control.
That is true. He does. Damn. Wow.
And you have people like the one caster who looks kind of like a demon, who are just focused on like the clout aspect, which is crazy to think about. Like this dude is still like, oh, Shigaraki Tomura is in the wind. Is there a special target at UA? Blah blah blah. I was like, bro, will you shut the fuck up?
A literal demon.
Stop telling everybody this.
Agreed.
Everybody don't need to know.
But
like, just stay shut.
Right. It feels like the villains always have control, and
It's more like the villains have a better understanding of what makes people scared.
I mean, and that's why I keep telling people that Horikoshi is a fantastic story writer, because in so many situations in real life, the media can absolutely cause a panic. Over information that is, either misconstrued or blown out of proportion, straight up.
And plus to add as well, the villains know how to scare people because the people have scared them. Splinter, the other villains that were not chose to be villains, Toga and them, they know how it felt to be like scared because of the people around them, because they were treated like villains, and that was never their choice.
We're also at this point where like there is some truth to what the villains have been saying. So now people are like, oh shit.
Because the thing is that like President Mike was like, oh yeah, I guess we've all gotten a little complacent. And it's like All For One and like the more organized villains noticed that some of the heroes got softer. And a lot of them were just like waiting on All Might to go away. Like think about that. Everybody was like, these other ones stay soft. But we could probably that's why. And when during Endeavor Agency was like, why did you think you could do this on my turf? Because even though All Might does have like way more presence, we start the series knowing that Endeavor has solved the most crimes.
Because he's doing the most work, like trying to catch up.
Like he literally does the most work, and people don't see that other than Hawks. Hawks is the only one that actually noticed that.
It's only because he's an asshole about it when he do it. So
yeah. Because the only person he wanted to get the recognition from was from his son Shoto. That's the only person he cared about.
And he wanted to be stronger than All Might, which it's okay. One of the things that I will say that I like about Endeavor, that in the way that he's been written throughout this story in regards to him trying to be the strongest, is that even though he's accepted that he's not as strong as All Might, on no level has he stopped training to get stronger. And the best example that like highlights this, there's two key things that highlight this really well. One, the prominence burn that Shigaraki dodged during the war arc. Because during that prominence burn, he also shot out a Hell Spider with both hands.
Yep.
The second one is the progression of his flight.
Has got a higher.
If you remember, during Pro Hero arc, he's like, I can really only kind of hover. And even if you look back to how the anime depicted it, and when they added those filler like scenes, he'd had the running and the hopping and the jumping on the walls, but he wasn't able to actually fly. By the time you get to before the Star and Strike fight, Endeavor is opting to not ride in a car, but just fly alongside.
Like, that's a big difference. Like he knows how to.
It's a massive difference.
Like he literally became the Human Torch at the moment. Like he literally was just flying.
It is an evolution of his quirk through his own work. Like straight up.
Facts.
I mean, it's like you pay attention to it. It's like, yeah, and Anika's right. He's like, he has never stopped putting in the work. He's only wanted to get better as things go on because he also knew that he would have a mantle of responsibility, sorry, Halo reference, to pick up when All Might disappeared. So he couldn't stop because he knew if he was chasing number one, always being number two, eventually, via his own work or circumstances, he was going to be number one. Period.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to keep doing the work, straight up.
And that's what I like about, because like when we had all like some of these heroes step down, like Yorei Musha, who I still want to end up having a sword fight with Stain, and I kind of want a flashback to some of the training, just because I kind of want to see more of like Hagakure Aoyama and Mina, or was it Mina that was with them too? I think it was Mina who was. I think it
was Mina with them. Yeah.
Because she was, and that's part of why Mina was crying so much this chapter.
Oh, was that Kirishima?
Hold on, let me just do this real quick.
Was that Kirishima?
I thought that was Kirishima as well.
No, I think Kirishima was with Tetsu and Fat.
Okay, gotcha.
That part I remember. Man, I gotta look at let's test those ultimate moves part 2, basically.
Ultimate moves part 2. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Hey, like.
And Aniki, you also read JJK, right?
Yes, I did read JJK. Oh, I actually really like JJK. Yep, it was Mina.
So, okay, yeah, there you go.
Man, I wanna.
Damn.
I don't know if it's another parallel. But...
Big I trusted you energy there.
Yeah.
And plus, I did say that this girl Mina is gonna feel the most hurt because I did say that she's gonna feel betrayed, and I don't think she's gonna forgive him. I think it's gonna be Mina, Ida. Those are my only two. I don't know who else is gonna feel.
Oh yeah, because the look on Ida's face.
Right, I said that. Like he feels like it's because he's the class president.
I mean,
so he feels responsible.
Ida had big what the fuck look on his face. Like, okay, look, I'd have been through enough.
Look, the last time Ida looked like somebody like that, he found him in the streets.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. But Sam, you was gonna say something about parallel?
Deku holding out his hand and giving Ayama hope that you can be a hero the same way with All Might to Deku, both corpless. And
what if Eden comes up and slaps his hand? Don't go for him his hand. What the fuck?
Imagine somebody comes through like, bitch, who the fuck you think you are?
What?
He just betrayed us.
Like, I was telling her, he was like, you know how many times I almost died because of him? Get that shit out of here.
Okay, if Ida slaps Deku's hand, it's gonna be with the right hand.
Yeah.
No. Have we talked about this? I don't think we have, because I think when Class 1A to Midoriya came out, I was still busy.
Go
so if you look closely, all the way back to Kamino, when Ida punches Deku in the face, he uses his right hand. If you look at this latest chapter, even when he tells Deku, like, we are gonna go and continue the search, he karate chops him with his right hand. When he takes Deku's hand after like during Class 1A to Midoriya, it's with his left hand, which is also the hand that has the nerve damage from the fight in Hosu City.
Oh shit.
So whenever he embraces or encourages Deku, he's also holding him with his left hand during the Uraraka speech chapter.
Oh,
he's got Deku with his left hand.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Anytime he lashes out to punish, it's his right hand. Anytime he embraces Deku or encourages him, it's his left.
Oh, that would be funny if next chapter he actually slaps him with the right hand. Because
that's a god.
I did not notice that.
Hell.
I did not notice that right and left hand shit. Okay, cool. Oh shit, damn.
Yeah, no, like it's like a weird consistency that Horikoshi has just maintained this whole time.
Well, I mean, because in some cultures, the right hand is the dirty hand.
Yeah, it is. That's true.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
and with Japan is that because
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if it's that exactly in Japan, but oh shit.
I know that for other reasons, but yeah.
What you been doing with your right hand?
Never mind.
Don't answer that.
Okay.
YouTube. He was kidding. Don't listen to him. Monetization, please. Anyway.
Monetization.
You don't understand what we're talking about, please.
That's a really, really good point. Oh shit. Yeah, no, I really want him to slap his hand. Hey, you can't forgive him. Get out of here.
So,
just slap.
Also, I'm gonna say that the reason why part of why Mina's face is like so exaggerated in this shot is to help convey also Invisible Girl's distraught because like we got to see her face for a little bit, but we're not
for the first time.
I was so happy. I'm like, oh, that's how she looks. She looks cute. Like, she looks so sweet.
Of course, that's what you think first. I'm like, oh, she looks so sad.
No, like she looks sad.
I see her and I'm like, she's like incredibly sad. I'm like, that's
like she's crying. But then we don't get to see her.
What's funny is Horikoshi did say that if he ever drew her face, he was going to have to try his best to make sure she was very pretty because he felt like it would be like disappointing to have her be invincible and always talk about how she kind of wishes she could be seen, only to like have her not even like have like a face in pretty that was like worth seeing or something like that. Not exactly that phrasing, but something like that.
I hope that she looked like Biscuit when she transformed.
But yeah.
Yes.
Also, you notice the Ojiro and Hagakure ship still sailing.
Yeah,
yep. I see that. I'm like, huh.
I ain't mad about it. I ain't mad at all.
I'm pretty sure she gave him a smooch in one of the chapters, but maybe I'm just tripping.
Oh,
I thought because I could have sworn I saw like a little panel of her with him that said like smooch on it, but I just can't remember what chapter it would have been in if I saw it. But they've kind of been close.
I would like to take a moment to appreciate one facial expression in that panel. It is it's Mineta. Mineta's like, why the fuck am I here?
Right? His face is like, so that's the reason why I could have died so many times.
He's like, why am I still here? That's his face.
Okay, you mean like in general, like why am I still dealing with any of this stuff?
Exactly. Like why am I still dealing with this? It's like, listen, he's like, of all the people here, I should just be gone.
But also that look on his face reminds me of when like you went to the bathroom and then you were about to head out and all of a sudden your body's like, oh no.
You're not done. Yes.
You're going number 2. You're like, oh, wait. And it's time sensitive too, so you're like, oh no.
But then I gotta go.
I mean, it's like, it's so wild. Like sometimes I think about it and I'm like, of all the shit that's been going on, Mineta's still there. Like he's still here.
He's still surviving. He's still
says a lot. It says a lot about his character. Yeah, he's a weird pervert, but it's like he's still here. There's so much happening. He could have been like, you know what? I ain't built for this. I'm out. He could have so many times.
Boy, Shadow, I've always thought about this all the time. Like, can we just see her if he could look? But how can he know to look at the right person? So it depends.
I mean, if her gloves are on.
That's so. We were talking about this, and I think the rule is effectively because she's not actually visible.
He can't do it.
Yeah, because we've seen him like use erasure on the class before just because like, yo, chill out.
Oh, she was still gone. Yeah.
So
that's true.
Since he's I guess so he also
the only reason why we were able to see her for the first time was because of Ayama's light.
Yeah,
hitting
the
her body.
Light from your personage has to actually hit his retinas, which is a bonus condition that you
that's wild
never thought about.
Nope, don't think about that till like, because she's invisible. What the perfect quirk? We found it.
Oh, don't worry. There's a look so I did a video on Quirk Awakening, right? And
it's on my playlist. I added it. I ain't watched it yet.
In that video, because like there's always all these like funny little conditions with quirks, I end up using the sentence, imagine you had a cup of Bakugo sweat.
Ew.
And the context.
Look, I don't kink shame, but no.
I'm like,
when I said it, I was like,
where's he going with this?
I mean, that's what he filled up his cannons with, but like still.
Oh, but the what I was talking about was how how to like notice like last chapter when Bakugo was throwing sweat beads for the cluster shot, right? So in that video I discussed how part of Bakugo's upgrade could easily be eventually him being able to not only secrete the sweat from his palms on command, but actually being able to shoot it, kind of like a spitting cobra. Which imagine somebody just walks up and sprays you with explosive sweat.
But I just realized Bakugo probably smell like ass all the time.
Consistently. But The other thing though is that like because as we're focusing on him developing his quirk, because before we'd been focusing on the explosions, and in this process we're focusing on him taking the actual sweat and weaponizing the sweat itself. And I'm like, the last step, and this is why the cup of sweat analogy ends up coming into play, is the purity of his sweat.
Okay.
Because obviously it would still have water in it, like normal sweat does, but we have this explosive chemical in there that maybe over time he can alter the ratios of water to explosive chemical, which will add another level to his explosions, because at that point he's not throwing 90% water, 10% explosive chemical. He's throwing 50% water, 50% explosive chemical, plus droplets, plus his standard ability to boom. So My Hero makes you have to think about some strange stuff sometimes.
I mean, because some of their quirks are rooted in like
science.
They have to get scientific with their quirks, to improve on them. Absolutely, makes sense to me.
Huh.
Oh, Bakugo, you stank booty boy. I still like you though.
Hey.
Definitely. But
we love our stanky loud son.
That's a fact. But I think that's a good wrap for My Hero conversation. I think we can move on to JJK.
Let me pull that up real quick.
JJK,
but I want to pull it up.
JJK chapter 168, the continue of the Coding Games part 8, right? I think it's part 8 of this one.
Yeah, Colony 1 part 8, I believe.
By the way,
part 8.
By the way, Aniki, how have you been enjoying this Coding Games overall? If I'm asked real quick.
I really enjoyed Higuruma, the lawyer.
Yes. Oh my god, he's amazing.
So good.
His fighting style was really enjoyable to see, and like him constantly switching up the size of the hammer and all that other stuff. Him sticking through with his conviction and dedication to actual justice, and it being beyond the scope of just like you broke the law, but like because he was like, no, this evidence was that you were possessed. That wasn't actually you. And he's like, no, I'm still taking accountability.
I love that. It's so beautiful. Like, it's sad, but it's true.
Higuruma is a fantastic character. It's like he really, really well done. Like, in all honesty,
they recently did the poll, and I'm surprised he wasn't like in the top.
I think it's because he's too new. I think personally,
I think he's a little too new, and he's really uptight. And if you notice that a lot of these popularity polls, people gravitate towards characters that
complete opposite
resonate with like traditional Japanese behavioral patterns,
like Bakugo.
Also, JJK and My Hero definitely have strong woman fan bases in Japan, because like people were there's all the misogyny jokes about like Horikoshi and Gege because of
about 10 about number 10 and 11, right?
That's not it. It's a bunch of fangirls voting with their hormones.
They're like, hey, oh, Bakugo, you stank booty boy.
Like, because it's because a lot of people got mad about number 11 being Nobara. About Nobara, and then number 10 it was Maki's brother, or no? Naoya. And for the people were mad about it, but I'm like, she's still top 15.
If it was the boys with all the votes, Meme would be number 1. Okay, I don't care.
That's a fact.
Nah, Meme, we ain't even going.
No,
Meme, not with what she was doing in Malaysia.
Hey, we're not gonna talk about that.
Who was in Paris? No.
But no, I agree with what you're saying. It's like, you know how people vote in popularity polls.
Oh yeah,
and especially attractive. One of my favorite things about the Culling Games though is that Megumi started this off being like, but there's a distinct difference between me and Yuji. Unlike
willing to kill.
I will rack up this 100 real quick if I gotta.
Yep.
And that's my segue into this chapter, because we started seeing that I will rack up this 100 real quick.
In this chapter, I felt like it was Toji right here. I feel the Toji.
It's just
no.
I feel Megumi getting so. I'm like just frustrated. He's like, I'm trying to not just wrap y'all up, but you keep forcing my hand.
He was, his expression, he was like, his expression was like, yo, I'm tired of this shit. I'm gonna just kill ya. Like, he was so frustrated and annoyed by this girl too. I thought he was about to kill her.
Like, so,
and I hope he did
what he has to do, but he also is like, I don't want to do this because I want to be better. But it's like, look, I know what I gotta do, and y'all really forcing my hand right now.
Well, and
like,
that's why
I love that.
part of me kind of is like Megumi smiles here because he's like, which I didn't notice it the first time I read it because I just read it once and it's like my brain like auto deleted the other two speech bubbles. But props to Gege for making sure all 3 players Koganes popped up to tell them that the rule was at it.
Yep.
But he smiles like, yeah, man, my homie really did it.
He's like, so he did his part, so I'm gonna do my thing.
Like, I'm still gonna fold these dudes.
Right. He's like, now I don't have to do what I was gonna do, but I can.
Yeah. Because he's like, all right, y'all want this fight, and
basically he's like, yeah, y'all really want this to happen, so let's make it happen. God, I love this guy. I love Megumi. He's such a good character. He's so good.
So to confirm, this new guy, Ori, is he taking body parts of his body and throwing next explosion, and then he's healing at the same time?
Yes.
He's healing right away because we're getting to see the damage.
Yeah, it's because he takes his eye out in page 4, but then
it comes back in page 9.
In page 7 is there again, and then he throws his tooth in page 7, and then his tooth is back in page 10 and 11. So it's like, okay. So I just want to confirm that he does throw his body parts, but then explosion, and then he heals right back, right?
He was also throwing receipts.
He was.
So I think that was Richie or whatever his name is.
Yeah, that was the other dude.
Yeah, the paper guy.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah, Reggie.
Also, I like how Megumi did have a bit of like, did I really have to kill that dude?
Exactly. He did. He had that quick of like, I didn't have to do that, but I did. It was interesting.
It was like he knew. He was like, it's 4v1. Everybody want to kill me. I gotta do what I have to do to survive.
Well, I mean, I feel like he's like, what am I doing? Because he didn't have to kill that dude.
He didn't because he heard the rule already, rule number 10, that players could switch points with each other. So he knew that, okay, Yuji got the job done. But then he said, like, damn, do I really have to do all that work to talk to these people and actually get these points from them? Or may I just kill them? So he just said, fuck it, I'm going to just kill this dude because he just got annoyed and frustrated already. He's like, fuck this.
Screw talk no jutsu. These guys do not want to negotiate, so I'm going to kill you all.
Just think about it, though. Megumi, like, you can see, he's actually bashing this dude's face in before they land on the ground, and dude still got up to try to fight him.
Yep. So, I mean, it's like he basically was like, I could have not done it, but like the point of being here is, trying to figure out what I want to do, I guess. And I'm like, in a sense, yeah, some folks gotta, in that world, some folks gotta go. Like he said it before, we're not heroes,
He did say that, and he don't see himself as a hero because he right after he puts like the final death in this dude, he said, "What am I doing here? We need more points in the future either way." But he told himself, I don't need to lose my head. I need to trust in others, and we don't need this guy points. All you need to do is continue doing what you're doing and just grab these points. And that's what he's doing. He's like, fuck this shit.
I mean, so he's basically saying that by any means necessary, as a backup plan. Because before they have always, because it's happened to them multiple times where they lead into one plan and it goes sideways, and then they can't do, they didn't have another plan to go to like facilitate anything else.
Yeah.
So I don't blame him. I don't, especially in this situation.
And that's like he also, I want to say that this is basically like Megumi's graduation to Supreme Grade in my eyes, or like getting to that point.
I mean, man.
Because okay, Yuji 1v1 a grade 1 sorcerer.
Mm-hmm.
But so maybe all these dudes are just bigger scrubs and it's because of the mob factor.
Mm.
But I just kind of feel like these guys are, and Yuji specifically managed to be competitive with a grade 1 sorcerer with no cursed energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So for me, this is both of them certified at least first grade, special grade, arguably.
Well, I mean, I kind of go by the points that they had. Old boy with the paper had 41 points. Other dude had 28 points. So I'm like, so they've been racking up bodies.
Yeah, they have some skill set, not like 100 points skill set, but they have some.
Mm-hmm.
And Higuruma's ability is part of why he was able to rack them points up, because it's like no cursed energy for you.
Yep.
I think I know another reason why Megumi had to kill him right away. Mainly because with all 3 of them, they already have 100 points. If they already work together and they share their points, that gives them the power to create a new rule.
Oh shit, that is true.
Game.
Also true. Yeah, like they could have shared. They could have shared points. Yeah, you're right.
Knowing that alert and everything, like like the plan could go both ways, where the enemy can rack all these points and work together, create their own rules and not and everything. Now
it's another. That is another great, no pun intended, point. Is that like he's basically eliminating potential folks from making other rules.
With all three of them, if they switch points, would have been 104.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's too much.
And that would give them the ability to create a rule mid-fight that could fuck over Megumi if they tried hard enough.
So it makes sense why he chose to kill, because once he heard the new rule, he smiled, or I guess as a smirk or something in page 13. So I guess he kind of realized that he knew what he had to do.
Well, I mean, I think it was more like what Aniki said, and that it's like, so it was both. It's like, okay, yeah, Yuji managed to accomplish the goal that he set out to make, but it's also like, okay, now I know what I need to do to, like, help myself in this situation.
Yeah, because also in page 14 he said, that rule. So I guess he thought about it already. He's like, okay, we could probably do a rule after this, or if they met up, still 100 points. But he just got too lost because he got killed. So too late for him.
Also, I'm going to point out that a little disappointing that Megumi only got 5 points off that dude, because I'm pretty sure they said that some people could be worth more than less. But just also that this fight is with the introduction of this comedian is going to lead to some interesting stuff.
I think so too,
because his ability is very unclear, but he seems to think it'll stop him from taking damage.
Yeah, it's real interesting. And I'm like, okay. Well, because, I mean, we saw that the paper came out and they turned to gasoline. So I'm like, what does it actually translate to? Like, do these become whatever he wants them to be? Or, like, because I'm like, okay, that's an interesting property for them to all of a sudden to be gasoline when, there's a guy he's working with that causes explosions from his body parts, which, by the way, shitty quirk.
Yeah, because he's bleeding after he takes out his tooth in his eye. So like, does he feel pain or does he just lose blood?
I bet he does.
If he feels pain, that's a suck curse technique, because that's painful. Like, you grabbing your tooth all the time, grabbing your eye. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't want to do it all the time. It's just painful.
See, somebody like me would have been throwing my naps at people.
Yeah, I feel you. You smart.
How do we feel of the new character popping out of nowhere, Fumiko Takaba?
So, the way I look at it is, we had to get to him eventually.
Right.
Especially because we just had him, he was just introduced as a comedian and then we didn't really come back to him.
Right.
And knowing that he has no points means that he hasn't killed anyone either. So it's kind of like, okay, what are we actually going for here?
I got real big twice energy from this guy.
Ooh, okay, I see that.
I mean, Gege and Horikoshi are friends, so I'm like, maybe some inspiration in there.
We will also have to remember he's also going to be on time limit too, because remember, if no one changed their points within 19 days, they say automatic kill. Then it's been already a certain set time already.
Well, I mean, now that this new rule is in effect, that's kind of like it kind of circumvents that rule just a little bit, but it doesn't completely defeat that rule.
That's true. You could just have Megumi say, I give 1 point to this guy. He can live now.
Yeah, you said you actually did something for me. Here's a point, you idiot.
And that's actually exactly how Megumi would say it too. Which that's what I was going to bring up too. 28 points for Chizuru Hari. That implies that he's killed regular civilians then.
Yep.
Yes.
Which means that there are still a few people who, for some reason, did not leave the colony when it popped up.
I feel like there also probably some people who were like, like the people with the vaccine, that ain't real. And so they were like, oh, okay. And then, nope, you walked outside, got murked. So, yeah.
You got a point there.
Yeah.
But it's curious to see what this guy curse technique is, because he got hit, but then he says 0 damage, but then he's bleeding on his face. So it's like, what the fuck do you mean, my guy? So I'm curious to see what is his curse technique or curse energy is going to be.
Because if I remember correctly,
we're about to find out.
From what I remember, his first appearance before this chapter, he was like, I feel about 70-30. if I'm a comedian that believes that I'm funny, or I'm the comedian where people thinks I'm funny.
Mm-hmm. So it's what he believes is what I think his curse technique is. Like whatever he believes is true, I guess, about himself.
Yeah,
there's also the possibility of if you laugh, you take the damage that he was supposed to take.
That'd be hilarious.
That
would be funny. Because it will make sense that because a lot of people do the theory that if he got the curse technique from Nanami, because of what he mentioned about the 70-30. So a lot of people thought that he would get the same curse technique from him instead of being passed down to somebody else. So that would make sense if it's a little twist to it instead of having the same technique.
By the way, in my head, when he said 0 damage, it sounded like Raccoon's English voice actor is what it sounded like. So I'm gonna write a letter. Please let this be Raccoon's voice actor when we get this in the anime because it's perfect.
this will probably be like season 3 or season 3.
So from what I can see, because so far we only seen 2 people with their points, the Reggie with 41 and the other dude with 35, and we don't technically know how many points the girl has neither.
If she turns out to be the actual strongest one of all of them,
I mean, it didn't seem like it. Like Megumi keeps like sparing her life, and like just her hair seems like just the whole scorpion tail.
Well, I feel like her actual curse technique is what she was yelling at him. Just say it. Just say that you'll protect me.
Yeah, because I feel like she needs to have a requirement. Like they gotta say what she wants to say. So because and then he said, "Yo, that line was so beautiful. Saying trash who cares more about words than deeds." Like he felt so disgusted because the eye was just so like, you. Like you are beneath me. It was so disgusting. Like I just love that line.
But I mean, it also could just be that she's, pathetic. So
I mean, this is the same dude that beat up like 20 niggas, and then while sitting atop their bodies was like, "If you don't understand why I beat your ass, that's why you deserve to have me beat your ass."
Yo, he's so cold. It's like I'm like.
But I can definitely see like Reggie is like he tells his partner, "Yo, give me all your points real quick." He texts the girl like, "Yo, how many points do you have? Like, just give me all of it. We'll create a new rule to stop Megumi." Have 95 points. He kills her just to get that extra 5 points to kill us because killing a sorcerer gives you 5 points. Give him the full 100 to create the rule, and giving Reggie to create the rule. Yeah,
I could see that happen, but like, what would the rule be to stop Megumi in their tracks? So like, it's very curious to know what.
Well, I feel like this might be the first time. Like, so what I'm hoping is that we see what happens when you try to make a rule that breaks another rule.
Ooh,
because I feel like in this game, when you try to do that shit, the game's like, no, you don't. Done. So that's what I want to see. But I feel like this will be the opportunity to show like the repercussions of that.
Yeah, like we gotta see something. And so what's weird is that I did want to see, like Higuruma was kind of speaking for me when he said, "I do want to see what force curse technique removal looks like."
I want to know.
Same.
Because I'm like, does their brain explode? Because remember when Mahito was activating the curse technique in Junpei, he kind of mentioned how some people have like the brains for curse techniques, but they don't actually have like a connection or something like that. Or some people don't have. So it's like there's these conditions that go into it. And then you have people like, I don't know why I can't remember his name right now. The cowardly dude with the sword.
Oh,
Kusakabe.
Yeah, because nobody likes him.
Yeah, everyone hates him.
Apparently he has no curse technique.
Huh.
If you remember, because I think it was Meme who said that Yuji reminded her of Kusakabe, who was like one of the first people that she knew that became a first grade sorcerer without a technique. Which I'm kind of curious to see how, if Kusakabe got dragged into the Culling Games, how that would go for him too, because he actually didn't seem incompetent. He just kind of seemed like a dude that didn't feel like dealing with none of that shit.
Or he just felt like, he was too good for it in a sense. So,
that, or he just didn't want to risk his life because he didn't want to get the award out of the Culling Games, or he didn't want to be part of it. Who knows? It's very intriguing of what the next part of this calling game will be, because it's curious to see of where part 9 and what other number 2 are we going to see, like what other colony are we going to see, like are we going to see Maki in a different colony, because I'm curious to see if her killing the other clan counts as points, because we never got confirmation of that if it will ever count.
Yeah, I don't think it will, because I don't think she had entered the colony before, like when that happened. Because if the Zenin clan headquarters was in a colony when she did that, they wouldn't even need to do this mission. Because she definitely would have had enough points, because she killed like 200.
Almost like,
was it?
I think
she killed 200 people.
She had a lot of bodies.
Yeah, that's it. Like, girl definitely has like 200 points and plus. But that's what I'm saying. We never got confirmation if the Zenin clan was inside a colony or not. So that's why I keep asking that question to know if we ever gonna see Maki, and if we see her, if we're gonna see her with points or not. Because we never got confirmation of the way if the Zenin clan was inside a colony or not. Because that's my hope to know. If it is, then that girl's gonna be racking with points.
So I'm just gonna, from a narrative aspect, I'm gonna assume not, because it negates a lot of stuff.
True.
Yeah. Especially if she's still like of the right mind to be friends with her friends, essentially. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that would just that would like simplify a lot of stuff, and Gege doesn't really write like that. Just from what we've been reading. So I think that'd be weird. But overall, I'm like, I'm still consistently JJK is still gas. Like you can tell that Gege is feeling good, and it's just in the writing.
And those breaks were worth it, because we're not getting randomly short chapters that don't.
So just let this man take his time, please.
Yeah, like I don't understand. Again, I don't understand what people was bored by this Conan games. People were saying the whole narrative was too story was. I'm like, bitches, this is how story gets written. You write the narrative. I'm like,
if you really want, like, then just wait and read it all at once. Like
you're gonna binge.
I find the Cullen games to be a way more interesting version of Greed Island. So,
thank you. Holy shit! Thank you. God. Oh. Yeah. Nope. I'm with you on that. 100%. But no, just because there wasn't really a whole lot to talk about with this chapter, but it's just I really dug it. It's like we got to see a lot of nuances of Megumi. It wasn't like directly said, but you could see, there's a whole lot inferred
about his action in this chapter and his body language. So I love that.
Yep, same. I think it's really hard to do that, and he did a really good job with it in this chapter. So I'm all about it. More of that, please. But I'm curious to see what the hell is gonna be up with this comedian dude. Like this, it's gonna be weird, but I think I'm ready for a little bit more weird now. So I can't wait.
I fuck with weird, so I don't mind. Sam, Aniki, any last thoughts of JJK?
Need to see what's going on with my boy Choso, but otherwise, like I'm
that cover page is beautiful. Like they look so good in that cover page.
And like, so I'm looking at the order though, because I made it a point to look back. Maki definitely did this before she entered the Cullen games.
Mm-hmm. And I think you have to declare yourself to participate in the
that
Cullen
too.
games.
So that's why, because that's what our boy Megumi did. That's what he did, chose to enter, and now he has his own little bird thing that tells him about the rules and everything. So you're right. So Maki did not get those 200 points.
Probably for the better plot wise.
Yeah, for the plot wise, definitely for sure. Sam, any last
we
thoughts?
already knew. So I was gonna say, like, we already knew, like, she spent the next couple of days to like eliminate the entire Zenin clan already. So we might not see her until like much later. It really wasn't too much, but it was time for a new character to introduce itself, especially when Higuruma is already, all right, I did my job, I'm taking a break, I don't want to see you. Technically to Yuji, he's like, I gave you the rule, I'm out, I'm gonna do whatever I need to, and all he has left is like 2 points left. And he confessed to Yuji saying, like, I killed, when I first got the curse power, I killed the judge and I killed the prosecutor for like the shady business and stuff like that, and it felt horrible for me. So I guess the comedian, I'm curious of how Gege is gonna write the character for him. That will we like it? Will we like start to like see him annoying? It's really up in the air to see, like, but I trust Gege in his character writing and stuff like that.
Side question for y'all, real quick.
What's
Do y'all
up?
think that Maki considers Megumi one of the people she's got to scratch off?
No.
No, remember Megumi said like he
doesn't
accepted the Fushiguro last name. It's like same with Toji. It's like, what's your last name? What's your last name? It's not Zenin, but it's Fushigumi. Technically Toji's wife's last name.
Yeah,
I mean, but ain't he the head of the clan?
But he
Oh
doesn't.
yeah, Fushiguro is the head of the Zenin clan, but
He
if you
doesn't
remember,
accept
so
the Zenin clan.
when I went to double check if they were already active in the game or not, it's set up so that they have a conversation about how Megumi's the head of the Zenin clan before she goes and kills everybody.
Right.
Gotcha.
He's like, yeah, I don't even want it. Yeah, you can take it. Like, no, you
okay.
can't. I can't take it. It has to be a male.
Good.
All that stuff like that.
Yeah.
So now she's the head of the Zedian clan because she killed everybody. So yep, done.
Yeah, ain't no clan.
claimed by right. It's mine now.
There's no clan. Shit, all dead, gone.
Yeah.
Dead
I
and
mean,
gone.
it could be a one-person clan. Look at Gojo.
Well, okay, that's the thing though. Gojo carries them as their big sorcerer, but there's still other members of the
They're
panel.
still out. They still out there. Yeah.
But we
They
just
just
haven't seen them.
Yeah, they just don't do shit because Gojo's there to handle everything.
Well, I mean, Maki.
But now-
Maki and Fugumi can, you know what happens when two people love each other. You know, who never knows?
Aren't they
You never know.
cousins?
Who knows, bro? That's weird
Bro.
stories. I mean, Yuji's dad and mom are the same person, so I don't care what nobody says. That's a theory. It's not confirmed, but I still think that his dad and mom were the same person. It's fine. It's weird.
Oh no,
but it's fine.
that is definitely mother and dad, and we're gonna see. Yo, I can't wait for that conversation because Genji literally dropped that as a 2-page story and then literally left that as is. I'm like, boy,
it'll come back.
I'm like, how do you get that flashback and then don't bring it back or continue it? Like, I got questions. I need answers.
When Yuji gets knocked out again, or he's streaming or something, we'll find out more.
That was one of the big jokes that I saw somebody say. They were like, he's one of the first villains that can canonically say "I fucked your dad" to an
Wow.
Which I do want to say it's fascinating that Kenjaku has an obsession with the Heian period. Because so during 2018, we went from, I believe it was 2018, we went from whatever the period was named before to, I believe it was called the Reiwa period in Japan, right? This seems like a small thing, but it was actually really offensive to China because it was the first period since the Heian period to not be named after a Chinese poem. So when Kenjaku was like, I'm going to make things like the Heian period, the golden age of curses, he was basically talking about going all the way back to a time before their eras were defined by like China. But we also have him in China.
Currently in last chapter, so that's interesting.
So yeah, I don't know what's up with that, but that's a thing.
Okay.
See, these nuances, they're there for a reason, bro. So
I give props to the story writers and artists. So
I mean, that's because they're damn good at what they do. Like, they're so good at what they do.
That's
I couldn't write this story, but I couldn't write the story even close to as good as they do. It's so good.
So
yeah, no, if I tried to write a story like JJK, I'd spend way too much time on abilities.
I give props to Sam. I give props to Sam and his team to write a whole story to webtoon because that's work. That is a lot of story on writing and trying to do abilities and everything. I'm like, I have ideas, but for me to actually do the ideas, I'm like, that's work. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Look, I'll tell you like this. I'm still writing the lore of the universe that I'm building. I haven't even actually started the main story. I'm still writing out the lore of how things are the way they are. And that's been going on for a while.
Yeah, no, you told us about that. So I think, wow, that's been a while. Anyway, JJK is great. For those that don't read it, go the hell read it. So my question is, so Ray, Aniki, want to quickly talk about Black Clover real quick, or we good?
No.
Look, all I can really say about it is it really does kind of feel like it's getting into that end of series territory. And so one of my big theories for Black Clover was always that Yuna would end up like the actual king eventually. and Asta would still end up like the Wizard King, and then you would basically just have 2 Wizard King level kings, and that's how I always saw it going.
Yeah.
And now that we've got Yuno with 2 grimoires and Asta doing what he did in this chapter, I feel like we're getting to that point where it's going to be really hard to argue other people being above them.
If this is the ending, then it makes sense. But if it is, then I'll be disappointed because I saw so much more potential for this series to go above with the Dwarves arc, with more of the whole type of 7 of Realms, of like what the story could have told with Tabata. It could have been so much more, but with this, and like this last second page of the series, of the chapter, him saying the demon slasher chooses what to cut. It's a katana that doesn't cut what it wants to protect. I was like, bitch, what?
And for like the scale of attacks that he can throw out, it's like, because like even if those cocoons start popping, he should be able to sense their key and just be like, oh, stop that. No. And then that should just be it. Like, and I'm like, so it's weird for me.
Well, and how was it like we're so convenient?
Go ahead. It's convenient that it's been 30 minutes?
Yeah. Yes. Literally, it was so convenient saying that, oh, it is 30 minutes. The time limit is up. I'm like,
listen, bro, this is the first time they've referenced time since the last time they said something about the 30-minute union. So, he can do that. He can get away with that. That's fine. But it's just, this really does feel like Endgame. Like this is them being done with it. This is him being done with the story, I think.
Because Morris even seemed like he was gonna do more, and then all of a sudden he got converted into a battery.
I thought Morris was gonna be the big bad, and then Lucifer was gonna come out. Because me and Ray was like hoping for Lucifer to come out. And then me and Ray was like, maybe if some demons escape, goes to do their own shit.
So with what Aniki said about them being at like max power, there's been nobody who's been shown to be as powerful as them. Period. Outside of Leech and Julius early on, but I feel like they've now surpassed them like a lot. And so it's like, what else could be a threat when the supreme devil of all devils just got dusted? So
it's like you look at. And even against like Julius now, thanks to the way that like Yuno's kit works with the double grimoires and the stars and the swapping places and stuff, I'm like, they really do have kits that seem like up there with the highest captains. They were already kind of like pushing that boundary, like coming into this invasion. It was like, these are arguably some like captain level fighters here. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, the stars come into play, and we got like him swapping and accessing Saint Stage and doing all this other stuff. And unlike Noel, his Saint Stage is something that he'll just be able to do.
Yep.
Because Belle ain't going nowhere.
Nope.
She saw him get another grimoire and was like, I knew I picked the GOAT.
Right. She's like, I knew I picked the right one. I picked the real main character. Yeah.
A katana that can let you basically do Dark Dimension Slash, but with anti-magic, but won't hurt your allies.
Yeah, that's just like, bitch, what?
That's like that's GG for anybody. Anybody.
Like, I'm like, how are people supposed to fight them?
You can't. Like, at this point, you can't fight Asta. Asta is like, to me at this point in that universe, unbeatable. You can't beat him unless you wait for 30 minutes and then you come out and jump him.
Yeah, you have to jump Asta in order for it to work.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't.
So I'm okay with it being in game, to be completely honest with you, because I'm like, I feel like Tabata has a lot of potential for other stuff. Like, honestly, Tabata has a lot of potential for other stuff. And so I'm okay. I'm okay if this is getting real close to a game, like straight up.
I would be fine with it because we even told our audience like we want to review other series that's not Black Clover because it's something that we just not lost faith or lost touch of it. It feels like the rinse and repeat. It's just we get it, power friendship, or we get it, just another power up, scale, big sword slash. So it's kind of we just want to see more.
I mean, and it's just
go beyond your limits.
Yeah, I know. It's just I feel like. While Black Clover is still fun as hell, like I have a ton of fun with Black Clover. It's hard to not start to compare it to everything else that it's around.
Yeah.
you know. And it's like, it's like, I tell people all the time, it's like, you don't need to compare these, but it's hard not to. Agreed. Especially when all these other stories are telling such good stories. You know what I'm saying? But Black Clover's fun. I'll never take that away from it. That's what it is. It's fun.
Like, it's just in a weird spot because it's written like a very classic shonen that would have gone for a long time.
Oh yeah.
But like we keep seeing like, and to a certain degree, I could see Tabata consciously making the decision to end it here.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically because we've noticed that the sales have been slowly decreasing over the past like year or two, and it's getting harder and harder for it to generate that revenue that like Jump is gonna want out of it.
Right.
So I could see him being like,
he chose to end it
on my terms, so that I don't end up in the position
like
that Kubo was in.
Yeah,
where he was, because like I really liked the 1,000-Year Blood War arc of Bleach.
Agreed.
Same. I just never finished it because it felt so rushed.
The character arcs, like the Quincy's had a good number of actually decent characters and all that, but once you got towards that like last 10 chapters, because it was just like, well, Bleach is in 5 chapters.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. And it was like, how hastily can we wrap these presents? It's like, okay, yep.
And they were not supposed to be done that fast. I was like, I'm gonna take a break because I did not finish the last 20 or 30 chapters because I knew of how the pace started to change.
I mean, personally, I thought it could have gone for another 50 and it would have wrapped up okay.
Yeah.
To be honest. So, but yeah, I hope that we don't get into that spot with Black Clover. So I hope this is him going out on his own terms. Saying,
I agree.
Hey, all right, on to the next one.
With what Aniki is saying, I see it.
Yozakura family.
I read that. I'm the only one that reads that.
It's on the list.
Mission the Cure Family, and I'm happy that Project Manga is adding that to the weekly coverage because man, Mission the Cure Family is such a great series.
We're about to add. I think the whole team will be unanimous on adding Undead Unluck to the actual roster. So, yeah.
I like Undead Unluck even more than Yozakura.
Okay,
man. I love Yozakura because I've been there since chapter 1, and I've been reading it since then, like 110 chapters, and I'm like, people don't understand how much I've put like 5 or 6
understand.
Ray, you gotta read it. You a married man. You're gonna be sitting here like, yeah, this me.
Oh, he would. Thank you, Aniki. Trust me. Like, this is such a wholesome and entertaining series.
And when you get to it, if you want, I'll tell you about a World War II plan that was referenced in that manga.
Yes, there was. There was.
Okay.
I think it was. I think it was like in the early like chapter 50s or something, right?
During the raid this year, the thing that they stopped the dude from doing at the factory was actually a reference to an attack that was almost executed on the U.S.
Yes, it was. I think it was around chapter 70 or 80 for that to happen because that's when the raid was during the process of it. Yep.
So
okay.
It's got a little flavor to it, and I'm sure there's people out there who would like be livid, but I'm gonna be honest. Yozakura family takes the formula of Hitman Reborn and does it better in my eyes.
A lot of people have said that.
Because
that's the first time I've heard that, and that makes it a lot more compelling to me. Okay,
a lot of people have said that.
Hitman Reborn front loaded a lot of its sitcom-y aspects in the first 60 chapters. I really struggle, and I've tried to read Hitman Reborn. I've tried to watch Hitman Reborn. I don't want to skip the entire first season of something to enjoy it.
Thank you.
It's really hard for me to get into it.
That is hard.
Yozakura family has some of those same aspects, but it actually lets you some of the action and real stuff get into the early story so that we can have a reason to stick around, even if we're like, this is only like kind of funny. And then you keep going.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fine. I'll pick it up. I'll add it to the list officially.
Yeah, it's such a great series and everything. Me and Brotakus just hit 69
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about me and Brotakus.
Okay. Hey, Alvis, that don't exist. That's a good joke you got there. I appreciate that. It's not real.
We ain't bopping no tees out here.
And plus what Sam said is true. We will be adding One Piece, but we'll be adding it in the spring or summer of next year.
Yeah, because
spring or summer next year.
It's a lot to read.
I think I'll be caught up by spring.
Yeah, so That's what I told the fans and audience last week that we'd be adding One Piece spring or summer. I don't want to give them a exact time, so that's why it's spring or summer.
Because things don't happen, but I should be caught up by spring.
When you add One Piece, I'll pull up for that too. Don't worry.
Oh, trust me,
I've been doing One Piece reviews lately, so
yeah, I saw that.
I mean, we're gonna have to have a podcast episode that's literally like the One Piece, catch up for me. That's like I want to talk about the whole series.
Yeah, I do wanna have a conversation once he reaches the time skip. I want to have him on the podcast to discuss his overall thoughts before time skip, and then once he gets closer to the whole Cake Island and the other arcs, I can't wait to see what he thinks about it, because that would be great.
Okay, bet.
But Aniki, where can the good before that? Before I was going to do the wrap up, what were people's favorite chapter?
Oh, what was my favorite chapter today?
Yes,
today. See, I didn't finish reading my chapters this week though, so I don't want to throw out there and say it and then be like, actually, I ended up liking this one more.
For the ones that we talked about, at least, because we talked. We talked about Kaiju, My Hero, and JJK today.
I would say My Hero, JJK, Kaiju, only because with Kaiju, last week when that chapter ended and he wasn't looking at them, I was like, oh, well, this is this.
Yeah, so I was right. Yeah, so like it was predictable, but it was still good though.
Yeah, it was good. It was just like
you saw the sorry state he was in physically before that happened. So for him to just be standing straight up like that, I was like, all right. Yeah,
it was like, look, if he would have been standing there like Vegeta with the one arm, like exactly. I would have been like, oh yeah. But
no, bro,
man, that one arm is always be hurt.
He was like, I got your daddy, and so that's I feel you on that. So I would go the same ranking. My Hero, JJK, Kaiju,
same.
All right, same. My Hero, JJK, Kaiju, definitely Black Clover last. Sorry to the fans, to the audience that loves our Black Clover conversations, but it's just Black Clover's not hitting. Just My Hero's just slapping. JJK continues doing good. The cutting games is there, and Kaiju is great.
This paper folds Earth.
And be careful. Don't you fold that paper the wrong way, you're gonna destroy the Earth. Be careful. Relax there, Asta. Asta, relax.
But
okay, you just reminded me of that Futurama episode where all the universes are in like cardboard boxes, and then eventually like Fry and them like pull the box through the box so that they have the universe, the box that holds their universe in the box. And they shake it, and they shake the whole universe.
I'm gonna just say, for those that don't know,
sitting on the box, and then like the world crumbles.
For those that don't know, the reference about the paper is from RDC World. One of the most recent sketches they did, so that's how we're just throwing jab of the paper for those that don't understand it. It was not JoJo reference, unless it is in the future. We don't know. We have not seen no JoJo, but it's from the RDC World clip. If you could put the clip in the chat. But Aniki, where can the people could find you? The church, your channel. What have you been doing? One Piece reviews. Go give it.
Primary thing you're gonna find me on is YouTube for Aniki Smash FSP. The FSP is just a callback to all the way back to my high school days, almost over 10 years ago now.
Oh no!
Same here.
So yeah, Aniki Smash FSP. I've been thinking about trying to do some streaming on Twitch for MTG Arena.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if I'm actually gonna do that.
No, I'm gonna go ahead and say, just go ahead and start doing that, my boy. Go ahead. Do it.
Don't think about it. Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah. So anything that you want to look me up and like contact me on Aniki Smash FSP. I do like the My Hero discussions primarily. Been adding One Piece content to the channel. I've had some JJK stuff that I kind of wanted to talk about, like why I don't think Yuji's gonna die at the end of the series.
Ooh, same here.
The simplest way I can say it is that if his goal is to have a proper death, he can't die as a 17-year-old executed because he has a cursed spirit inside. That's just not a proper death.
I mean, they just talked about that in the last two chapters, so yeah.
So I'm like, eh. But yeah, so I kind of want to just thinking about adding some more stuff. And if you are interested in Quirk Awakening and how it's not a real thing and how Gaten and them were wrong, then I got a video for you that I dropped recently. So go ahead and peep that.
Go check it out. Aniki is a good friend of ours. He's great content creator. I also support this man. So go definitely check it out. Ray, where can the people could find you, and what will you be doing on your break? Any streaming, anything for the lovely people to know?
Yes. So I'm Ray Apollo everywhere. You can absolutely find me just at RayAPollo everywhere. I try to claim my name. If you don't see a black person, it's not me. So I'll be doing a lot of streaming coming up for the end of the year because I'm going on break for work, so I have a lot more time to stream. So expect that to be happening. I got plenty of Pokemon cards open, so I got some more packs to crack. I'm trying to finish up my celebrations list, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But we'll see what happens. We might. Also, check out my YouTube Shorts. That's usually where I put my individual thoughts on the mangas that I've been reading and the animes I've been watching and the games I've been playing. I use YouTube Shorts now because that's what I have time for currently. But long form stuff coming back later on next year. But right now, Shorts is where I'm at. So
I know that feeling.
Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, that's where I'm at. That's where you can find my content. If you don't like it, tell me. I'll be honest. So the Aussie guy wasn't the real Ray Apollo. Gotcha, exactly. I'm the real one. Remember that.
Saying the Manga Man, where can people find you other than you being stressed because of finals of school?
SametheMangaMan, all my social medias. But yeah, I'm mostly on Anime Lady Chat. I'm like bothering the shit out of the group chat. And I'm diversifying my memes lately in other Discord channels. So if you're going to see my name, I'll probably be in the Discord channel there.
Shots fired, Sam. Okay.
And it's true what Sam said because we might also be bombing our own Discord channel as well, but for other reasons. And stay tuned for that on the Twitter, on the YouTube side, and updates on everything about that. But you can follow me at LegendDVash everywhere on social media. I'll go on break on December 17th until the 3rd, so you'll be seeing some Twitch streams of reading of Eden Zero, Hunter x Hunter, and a couple of stuff to catch up on. So I will be having my time to be as a full-time content creator since I will not be working and I will not be getting paid. So if you want to subscribe on the Twitch side, pay us. Definitely, I'll be great out here. Or just see content creators. Me watching Hunter x Hunter that I've been promising for the past year and a half. So definitely, that'll be happening during my vacation. Other than that, you can follow everyone on these links down below. Talk to you guys later.
Did you get caught up on Attack on Titan, Ray?
Oh, I'm almost done. I got like one more volume.
Oh shit, you really are?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got
shit, that's dope.
Mm-hmm. Wait, guys, we can Attack on Titan into the conversation now.
Well, I don't know about that because I'm not going to be there because I'm not caught up because I'm waiting for this anime to come up in 3 weeks now. Holy shit.
Tell him about Hunter x Hunter?
Wow.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. He'll never watch it, so it's fine.
Don't worry. I know. But oh yeah, me too. I need to catch up to a couple.
That's been actually been good too.
The art's fantastic there. But for those that did come and join from the church, I appreciate for everyone to join
thank
here.
Thank y'all for coming through. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming through as always. It's always a pleasure talking with you, man.
I love hanging with you guys. I'm sorry I've been so busy lately.
No worries, man. We get it. We could talk off air in a few. I appreciate it. Oh, Coyote, thank you. Get it. I appreciate it. You're such a sweet man.
Appreciate you.
We know you do a lot for the church, so we appreciate that. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
But no, yeah,
from the bottom of the team,
from the church, all y'all who are here who are regulars, thank y'all for hanging out. We appreciate each and every single one of y'all.
New people that comes in to just check us out, just to hear our thoughts and watch stuff. Thank you.
Go check Aniki. Go check us out if you're new to us. We here do anime podcast every Thursday night. Go check C4's Villains. Go check Shonen Ronins, and go check the church and everything else from our friends. We see you guys next time.
Bye, Abe. You bum.
Just had to sprinkle that in at the end.